you do the recap because you didn't write one, and that's your punishment. Plus, you were just reading it, so you kind of know. Just bullet points.
Fuck you. Oh, shit, you're live.
I think that might be 1 second. Just bullet points. You would just...
Oh, well, now I have to scroll up and find the beginning of Dan's notes. So, let's see. Elishon received a letter from her brother, and it contained a secret message that basically said that he's in trouble and things are not going well for him because their father is fucking around with him. And so she discusses that with everyone. And there's a bit of conversation about that. And then before we talk to Silver, who tells us about his travels, where he went across a nearby mountain range and came across a overgrown city that was inhabited by large gray-skinned individuals. It sounded like Goliaths, but they were many portals to all of the different planes of existence within the city, and that they were leaving lament because things were going because this place was doomed, and the city was called Algar. He says that he's pretty sure he could show us where it is, but he can't point it out on a map. And then we went to bed and was woken up by sounds of shouting in the courtyard. The Chorids from our mine had dug into the courtyard and needed our help getting rid of some deep drakes that had taken over their mines. So we go down there and fight them and win, managing to get several scales and a very large skeleton of their dead mother that is now going to be a centerpiece of something in Byron's collection, because he's planning on having it whatchamacallit, like
National History Museum up on the ceiling.
Yeah, he's going to have it mounted up in the ceiling in the library. And then the next day around lunchtime, Kiryanti and Bjorid come back to the keep and basically telling us that they are here to help fight, and telling us what they had gotten up to. They did a little bit of recruiting on our behalf and said that there should be a few individuals coming to the keep to help with the fight as well. And scrolling down some more. And, well, they want to go relax and sleep and stuff because they had a really long, hard journey. And Byron did some work with some of the craftsmen to get his deep drake skeleton going up, and he went around the grounds casting illusions to help insert Byron's plan here. And Rose was also doing some prep with the people of the keep. And I think that's where we kind of left off. Everybody was getting ready to go to bed, I believe.
Cool. Yeah. So we're probably, just to make things kind of easier, we're going to skip ahead a couple days. And we can just kind of assume that in that time you guys are doing stat war, making sure everyone knows how to fight if you're a Rose, or kind of doing the illusions, or whatever it might be for you. You can sort of...
We're losing you quite a bit, Rob.
We're gonna... I think we're just going to skip ahead a couple days and assume what everyone's up to. And so the first sort of thing that happens then, maybe 2 or 3 days. So we'll say you're probably about 5 days out, 5-6 days out from when you expect Gaia to return, or Gaia to here.
Do I need to roll any perception checks for these new days?
Yeah, you can roll 3.
3. On the dice, that's 15, 18, and a 6 with my plus. Where is my character sheet for Elishon? I believe it is the highest is going to be a 33.
Damn. I think I did mine.
Huh?
I said I think I did say above 30 for you to succeed.
Yeah, because it's a 18 plus 13. That's
yeah, but
yeah,
I think I'm said like I said in the past, like if you.
I mean, it's up to you, man. I don't know what's going on.
We need above 35.
Wait, you fucking with me? Because I can't remember.
I think you said 30.
Something like roughly above 30, because you were saying sort of if you rolled a 19 or a 20 or something, but that was an 18.
Went up. Yeah, my proficiency went up so that.
Okay,
that's fair. We'll go with it. So then you would wake one morning, just recent morning, because otherwise it's weird that you haven't. And you see, kind of just at the sort of bottom of your bed, like when you go down your feet, like 3 or 4 like scratch marks, like someone's raked their fingers across the floor. And like looking down, you sort of see the area under your bed is just kind of covered in them. Like the floor underneath your bed, there's just like a patchwork almost appearing.
What?
Well, not appearing. They're there, kind of like scraped into the wood almost.
Is there anything under the bed? Is just scratch marks underneath her bed?
Yeah, on the floor.
Are they leading anywhere, or?
No, they're just there. But they're always in patterns of like 4 fingers.
Do they look like, how large are they? Like,
They're a few inches like long, and they're all parallel, so probably about like the length of a finger, each one. It's strange. They're sort of, it's almost like a patch, but it looks as though they've been kind of placed there deliberately, almost. But then there's this, 1 or 2 outliers to make of it.
like humanoid shaped or like smaller? Or does it look like, more when scratch marks?
It's quite hard to tell. They're sort of maybe like a centimeter wide, so they could be a human finger, but they might be a claw or something. They don't look like they're made with something exceedingly sharp, like it wasn't a knife or something.
Well, I'm thoroughly perturbed by by this, to say the least.
Yeah, you're sort of worried that anything like that. There's there could be like 20 or 30. You haven't seen them until now.
They definitely weren't here whenever I moved up into this room, because like the bed wasn't part of the keep.
Like they're scratched into the stone floor. And
stone floor. It.
Well, it would be stone, wouldn't it?
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, that changes things a bit, I guess. Probably should have started with that. Yeah.
I'm gonna go down to Rose's room and knock on her door.
Yes.
This is gonna sound like a really strange question, but can I look under your bed?
I'm sorry, what?
Can I look under your bed? there was something in my room, and I wanted to see if it was in your room too. Kind of look under your bed.
Rose will just kind of like raise an eyebrow and be like, I
mean,
guess.
I'll show you like right after. I just want to. Okay, and I'm gonna go. Hi Willow, and like duck under the bed, and like look.
She just shakes sham bullshit, standard. Yeah, there's nothing there. Looks normal.
Okay, and can I show you?
Please do.
Okay, and I'll take Rose upstairs and to my room and show her the marks on the floor. It's like I noticed these today, and while Rose is going to look at that, can I like look around the rest of my room to see if there is any more anywhere else?
Yeah, sure. Make me an investigation check.
Cool. Oh, sweet. That's going to be a 24.
24. Yeah, you see there's a couple by the window. Only one or two, but they're the same marks, like on the windowsill.
Yeah, and I usually leave like the window open, which I'm now like probably seriously regretting for like a but they don't look like anything like Arthas would do because he doesn't normally.
I mean, yeah, he would normally fly in. It's quite a small bird.
Yeah.
And
like,
he wouldn't fly in as anything that could scratch into stone.
So this is disturbing, right? Like, and I'll point to the ones by the windowsill as well.
I would think that you would hear the creature or person that could make marks in stone like that.
I mean, maybe it was waiting for. Maybe I wasn't here whenever it happened, but I'm like fairly
How did it get into the keep?
Well, I mean, I leave the window open for Arthur sometimes, but
Of course you do.
Well, I'm asleep sometimes. But I would have heard this, I would think, and well, Arthur definitely would have if he was here whenever this happened. I don't know what these are. They don't look like something I could make a nature check for or anything like that. Or
how deep into the stone do the marks go?
Not very deep.
Okay.
It's like maybe half a centimeter or something. Like they're quite shallow. And almost more marks, but they are definitely scratched in.
And the stone is like, it's a harder stone. It's not like a sandstone, which would break up a little bit more, or
no, it's the same stone that the keep's made of. It's keepstone, the finest northern keepstone.
So probably like an igneous or a.
All
right.
Yeah, you're you're a dwarf. How strong would something have to be to do this to stone, right?
Well,
yeah. I mean, you would like straight up know. Like humans, most animals definitely couldn't have done this.
You'd need a fair bit of strength to do something like this, and it doesn't look like tool marks at all.
If you're speaking, Rob, we can't hear you.
I'm not.
Oh, okay.
So it doesn't. Yeah, does it look like tool marks, or it actually looks like they were actually like carved in?
They look very sort of like what's the word? They do not look precise. They look, I suppose, imprecise. Like they were made. Yeah, like they were made with claws rather than a tool. Yeah.
Too imperfectly parallel to be like a rake type tool that could keep things. And it would be like, way too much trouble to make sure that, individual tool marks would line up that way.
Yeah. And, they're not like all of them aren't like perfectly straight, and the edges are kind of ragged, like they're they weren't made
He
precisely.
doesn't have those clean lines that a chisel would make or anything like that.
Right.
Well, something made these, not something using tools. Probably a foot or a hand with claws.
That I wasn't able to hear.
That's the concerning part.
To say the least. We should maybe tell the others at breakfast. This kind of, yeah.
We should definitely tell the others and make sure the guards are on lookout as well.
Yeah, I'll have to start keeping my window closed, I guess. I know that I did a search around the room for more of the marks. Can I do like another search around like through my like little floor or whatever for like any hidey holes or anything like that?
Yeah, sure.
Especially like around the bed and stuff.
Yeah.
Another investigation?
Definitely.
Okay. Oh, that's only a 9.
Yeah,
Unless Rose is helping me. Is Rose helping me?
I mean, yeah, Rose will like look around and try to kick some extra.
Yeah, that's even worse. That was a 1. Fuck.
Yeah, you can't find anything. Nothing that you would think could hold a creature or something.
Maybe I should ask Byron to send Milton up here with the wand. Yes. I'll ask Byron to send Milton, and then maybe I should do my night eyes spell. But we should go tell Byron and Remy right now. So let's go do that.
Yes, let's.
And so we go and to find them.
Yeah, so you get typical like Elishan good morning, which is, hey, I found something weird. Yeah.
It's like, hey,
Can I look
there might
under
be
your
trouble.
bed?
It's like, hey, there might be trouble. This is, yes, weird question. Tidings, trouble, my room. Can I check under your bed?
What, you come at Remy's bedroom or mine? Which one do you want to do first?
Remy's would be closer, I think, because Byron's on the bottom floor.
You want to look under my bed?
Yes, there's marks underneath my bed. I wanted to see if,
All right, hold on. Close the door in your face. Remy goes over. You hear some things shuffle around. And then he swings the door open. All right, yeah, you're good. Go ahead.
Okay, go in, quickly check. Nothing, I'm assuming.
Yeah, nothing.
Okay. Yeah, there's marks under my bed. Something's been scratching at the stone. I'm gonna go ask Byron now, and without further explanation, we'll go down the stairs for Byron.
I'm gonna go to Elishan's room and look at the marks.
Yeah, you see what everyone else sees. You're really not sure.
So they look like claw marks. How big are they?
So they're about 4 inches long each, or probably 2 or 3 inches actually. They're about 1 centimeter wide, 0.5 centimeter deep.
Okay. Do they look like they could have been made by Elishan's clawed feet when she's a harpy?
Potentially, but they're a bit thicker than like the end of Elishan's claws.
Okay, so there's something bigger than that.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're like the width of a human finger.
Can I make a nature check, see if I can identify what kind of animal or magical creature might make that?
Yeah, if you want.
That's a 19 plus 6, so 25.
So you're not sure of a specific creature that could do something like this, but you think that it's probably not like a normal creature, right? You think there's probably some kind of magic involved with how this has been done, because you can't imagine anything being able to do this naturally.
Okay.
Okay, and so I go and I'll knock on Byron's door.
For expedience sake, I'm just going to say I'm there.
Yeah, okay.
So maybe he has like a little writing desk or something in his own chambers that he's already awake and working at. I don't imagine he has like the full coat on. There's just like the fancy his fancy shirt, and he opens the door. Like hair's maybe a little more tousled than usual. This is early, Alishon.
Well, you know, I like to start the day off exciting. There's a unknown creature claw marks under my bed. Looks like it's been working on them for quite some time. I don't suppose you have anything similar going on in here, do you? It's not me that made them, and I am fairly certain not Arthas either. Neither one of us can claw stone.
If it is Arthas, it's the best fucking prank in the world.
So, I'm gonna break up with him so bad.
He kind of like, I imagine you just start spilling those answers, and he doesn't even have to ask the questions. You're just already coming up with the answers. So he's like nodding along, and you see like in his room, like it's absolutely immaculate. I'm sure Milton's maybe just like tucking the mattress in or something. I don't know, the duvet. I'd be my guest. I like the idea that you go down on one side and Milton goes down on the other.
But I can't see him.
I think there's a little shimmer.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, look under, nothing under Byron's bed.
Nothing.
Okay. And so she'll like look up and kind of say like, yeah, no, it looks like it's just my room. I did a quick search in my room, but I was wondering did Milton ever get a chance to use the wand up in my chambers?
Byron like turns to Milton and like, well, I know he can't reply, but he could nod or something.
I imagine the wand just sort of appears from nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he hasn't used it in her room.
I don't believe so. Things might have changed since then.
Yes. I'm not entirely sure how long. It looks like it's been a while. Do you want to come see?
Absolutely. And like Milton's already like leaving with the wand, and I'll just mage hand the coat off the hook and already be out into the corridor following you.
Leading like the strange procession back up to Elishon's room where Remy's like probably still checking.
Yeah,
things.
he's just going about the room and kind of like seeing if there's any other like markings or signs of entry, things like that.
Yeah, so you'd eventually probably find the ones on the windowsill as well, but nothing more than that.
So with my nature check, can I identify, even if it's a magical creature, like usually they have animalistic features, can I identify what the thing that made these marks had bird claws, bear claws, wolf claws, cat claws, things like that?
I'll say that they are definitely wider than like your average claw. So they're like you'd imagine that it's either something really, really big or something with really, really big claws. So maybe a bear, maybe something along those lines, but you don't think it's like a wolf or a bird or something like that.
Some kind of large predatory mammal.
Yeah, probably.
It's what it looks like, even if it's something magical and crazy.
That's what it looks like.
Okay.
But honestly, you kind of get with that check, I'll say you kind of get the sort of like feeling that they're maybe slightly too close to the same size as like a human finger.
Okay.
You're like that's a little bit too much of a coincidence, like
maybe a large human or something. Or
no, they're about the same size as like a normal human finger, but yeah, they're sort of well, you don't think a human could carve their fingers into stone,
right? Unless they were some kind of magic guy. But it looks like a gouge, right? Not like a magical melting of some kind.
Yes, that's the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
There's not like any signs of like blood or anything either. So it's like no. Fingernails that broke off while doing it.
Nothing like that.
Okay.
So, can I, if we arrive, can I set Milton to shining the wand in all the various corners of the room? Could I make a check? Byron's thought is this is something trying to take out its frustration, perhaps, on Elishan as a target, but from a different plane, given all the details that I'm sure he's been told. I don't know if I could make some sort of arcana check, maybe with a detect magic thrown in there to see if I can sense any.
I'll give you an arcana check and detect magic combo.
Thank you very much.
Meal deal.
Meal deal. Kids meal.
Somebody should maybe check for fur or feathers or something like that.
The arcana I have is a 26.
Yes. Okay. So you would know that there is definitely precedent for sort of weird creatures from other planes being able to have physical influences on the material plane. So you could potentially imagine that there was sort of some weird planar activity going on in a different plane that was affecting an area in this plane. And with the detect magic, you would see maybe very, very slight, just a taste sort of thing of magic, almost like something very magical was here but is no longer.
Go ahead.
No, you go. You go.
I was just gonna say, nobody found any other evidence other than claw marks. There's no fur.
Nothing else. No.
And nothing's dinging on Milton?
No, not in here.
Okay. I'm gonna, while Milton's doing that and Byron is doing his detect magic search ritual thing, I'm assuming he did it as a ritual. Elishan is also going to do the Husagin's Night Eyes ritual.
Yep.
Which also does the whole secret doors, dark beings and evil creatures that are invisible will become visible to me.
Okay.
And also see if anyone has been controlled or affected by evil energies.
Yeah, so I would say a similar thing to where you can't see anything, but you get the impression of previous bad juju from under the bed.
I don't think I asked you before, Rob. How old are the markings?
It varies. It's hard to tell, but from I'll say, because you rolled a boss ass roll. It looks like some of them could be up to a few months old. Some of them could be today. It's kind of hard to tell.
Some are obviously older than others, and some are very recent.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's more than one set by the bed and one set at the window?
So the under the bed is a patchwork.
Okay.
Of 20 or 30 sets of 4. That are all kind of just centered under the bed.
It's almost like something is trying to kill you, but missing and hitting the floor.
If you want to put it like that. No comment.
So my question is, if there are some that are, say, within the last couple of months, how? Because I've been, if this is something from another plane, I've been basically throwing up forbiddens every.
Mm-hmm.
So it's either something that can go beyond that, or
maybe it can shift.
Well, if it's I don't. Oh, Byron hasn't said that out loud yet, so I can't say that. So
sure. Everyone waits in polite silence until Byron has finished. I tell you everything that I thought when I came back again. I don't know why playing the creature would necessarily need to get in and out the window, unless it is something like the Forbiddance that shifts in some way and gets in and out of the keep. Or maybe it can reach. It doesn't have to have human dimensions.
Oh, that's super creepy.
Are we warded against
just
undead?
Like a long ass hand.
Yeah.
Just creeping in. Oh.
yeah, that's just making me more uncomfortable. But the forbiddance, Rose, correct me if I'm wrong, you warded against undead, like creatures like
Yes.
Amon, and so maybe this thing isn't undead, but it does protect against. It is supposed to protect
It
against
is.
interplanar teleportation within
Yes.
bounds, right?
Yes.
So maybe it's not actually ever getting here.
It might be
Yeah,
sort of
it's-
semi-material, like it might be here, but it doesn't have to necessarily teleport in front of the plane of existence. But
I'm just going to say, this may or may not be relevant, but the Forbidden Cell says, by way of the astral plane, ethereal plane, Feywild, Shadowfell, or the plane shift spell,
So it might be doing it some other way.
potentially. But I'm just,
okay.
that's not necessarily the case. I'm just saying it just so that you guys have all the information, because I'm kind of like that.
Sure.
well, so if it's in the, it prevents creatures from accessing the area by way of the ethereal plane or astral plane. So
Or Feywild or Shadowfell.
Shadowfell,
right,
or the plane shift spell, or gate, or
Right.
teleportation.
Yeah.
And then I can set so many like undead creatures, and if they try, they get some gnarly damage. Unless they
Which is
have
dope.
the password.
Yeah.
It's definitely not password.
1, 2, 3, 4 Lathander or something.
It's kind of password an idiot has in his luggage.
I need you to change the password on my luggage box.
Curious. Maybe it can shift. I don't. It says a few months, but like the chaos seem to have little problem coming here, at least in areas of their power, from their realm. It could be a creature that's between two realms. Although it must have some sort of, like, there are no marks. There's no marks in the bedding. There's no marks on you, I presume. Just in the stuff.
No. Right? This hasn't been.
Yeah. No marks on you, no marks on the bedding.
It's they definitely look like gouges coming down from above, right? Where she's sleeping.
Or is it like something like crawling across the
So
floor?
like the hand was on the stone.
Yeah.
So, like crawling
And it's just
across the
gone.
stone? Or as like someone standing up above and swiping down and striking the stone from like a
Byron
standing
using
position.
like Sherlock vision, can he like
Yeah.
see where they're mostly pointing at? Like if they're above her head or something? Or if like the
it is
bows ration all over.
draw 3 lines coming off like a dungeon map. They're just in random directions.
Some of them are months old. Some of them are as fresh as today.
Yeah.
So my question is,
Well,
does it look like
could
something
be.
has been like crawling across the floor and doing like, creepy, stir of echoes, gouge marks across the floor, like dragging themselves across the floor? Or does it look like somebody was trying to attack me while I was sleeping and they just went through me
It doesn't
in
really
through
look
bed?
like. It doesn't really look like either because
Does
We
it look
lost you,
like
Rob.
either?
no, it's very random. Like it's a patchwork. It doesn't look like there's any kind of method or direction to it.
Rob, Remy's gonna walk to the window and he's gonna take some of his climbing gear, and he's just gonna tie off a rope on something stable inside Elishan's room, and he's gonna hop out the window and look out the side. It's daylight, right?
Yeah, it's morning.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
gonna kind of lower myself outside the window, and look for scratch marks along the wall.
Okay. I won't make you make a check because that's kind of badass. You do see 1 or 2 more.
Okay, and I assume they're below the window, sort of like going towards it?
Yeah.
Okay, there's something
Or
climbed.
towards the ground.
Yeah, Remy's going to rappel down and start looking
Mhm.
for marks on the ground.
I will take a check for that if you please, sir.
Survival?
Whatever you think is relevant.
Okay, well, I've been using nature. I'm going to go with nature. Which makes it a 21.
You don't find any on the bottom.
Okay.
Or on the floor.
Do we have a skilled ranger who lives at the keep currently? Or somebody with...
You do. Yeah, you do. You have Arden.
Well, he was a fighter, but okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he was actually, but he's still kind of rangery dude.
Yeah.
Maybe he multi-classed.
Yeah.
In a lot of levels.
Now he's still level 5.
Oh no.
He's been sitting in the keep, not doing anything.
Yeah, he went, you know,
That's true,
dungeon
he did
diving for an
take
entire
it.
season.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, he had his own missions.
Yeah, he got those, you know, dope ass staff for Byron.
Mm.
I'm going to call up to the window.
Somebody find a ranger. Gotta find these tracks.
Yeah, so Arden is sort of like in the roost up, you know, the top floor. I think he said he wanted to be on, because he wanted like a balcony or something. So he can sort of like come down and kind of have a look around. But yeah, I'll give him a roll as well. No, yeah, no, he can't find anything. He's just as stumped as everyone else.
So I assume we're on the inside of a wall, right? Our tower is on the inside of the inner wall.
Yep.
I'm just going to draw a straight line from Elishan's window and go to the wall and look for more scratch marks on the wall, and I'll do kind of like a wide area.
Yeah, all right, make me investigation.
Not very good at those. That's a 10 total.
Yeah, you can't find any more. If we'll say Arden's helping you, so you can have advantage of him.
Sure. Yeah, no better. I'm gonna rally some of the guards to see if they can pick up anything. Basically, tell people that something was here in the last 8 hours. We're looking for scratch marks deep enough to be cut into stone or strong enough to be cut into stone. And we're trying to pick up some kind of trail. And then I would suggest somebody contact Arthas because he's probably the best tracker we know, right?
Yeah, okay,
yeah,
I
one
can
of
do
them
that.
definitely.
Probably want to question the guards that were on duty last night as well. See if there was any disturbance or anything.
Yeah, so you can definitely call Arthas. He's not around, but you can call him up if you need him. What was the other thing you said, sorry, Jade?
Question guards that were on duty last night if there was any kind of disturbances in around or anything like that, unexplained.
No, you get shaking heads and confused looks. No one noticed anything weird.
Yeah, and Elishan would do a sending to Arthas, saying there's something strange going on.
We need your nose,
Yeah.
dog boy.
Yeah, well,
Yeah. Stitch back, just saying. Call me.
What? Oh, sorry. She'll, take his air stone out and kind of hold it out and say, Arthas, I need you. And, call him.
Yeah.
through
And
the
he
air
just
stone.
the way I described it last is like he sort of comes flying out of the ground in this sort of weird green light. Just sort of appears, and it's like when you stand up too quickly and you get a head rush, and he sort of shakes his head for a second and just looks around. What is it?
There's something has been in my room. And kind of...
And he's looking around, trying to...
Yeah.
And then, yeah, you indicate, and he sort of looks under the bed, kind of looks back at you like worriedly.
Yeah.
I have no idea what that is.
But there's been like there's so many of these, right, Rob, that could Elishan kind of deduce. I don't know if you want to make her make an intelligence check or a wisdom check or anything like that. Would Arthas have been here on some of like the nights that some of these appeared?
Yeah.
Like, yes, I can deduce that, or yeah, I should what?
Yeah. There's not really any way you have of knowing, but
Yeah,
you definitely could have been. Yeah.
yeah. And so, yeah, I guess she'll say that, and she's, you know, some of these look like, you know, like you didn't hear anything, see anything.
He just shakes his head. He looks kind of freaked out.
Can you smell anything off of them?
He's like shaking his head like, this is completely new to him. He has no idea. He's sort of at a loss for words.
Arthas, you see the scratch marks, right?
He nods. Yeah, I see them, but I don't know what that is.
I don't need you to know. We need to follow them. They go down the wall, and I lost the trail out past that point. Can you pick it up?
I mean, they don't have a smell. I don't know.
Well, I mean, you need your eyeballs.
Yeah, right. Sorry. And he'd sort of like peer out the window and like kind of climb out and see if he can have a look. And then he'd probably, turn to a bird and start like flying around trying to look at all the different places and see if he can find a trail. But that might take a while.
So at this point, we've got probably a good number of the guard and Arthas looking. So hopefully somebody will turn up something.
Yeah,
we can pick up the trail, leaving the keep. We can try to follow it and maybe use True Sight to identify whatever it is.
Yeah, so they would search for like the rest of the day if need be. So what would you guys all like to do in the meantime?
Could I suggest, Elishan, you've not slept anywhere else in this keep? That we could see if the marks have followed you there.
I think the only time I slept in the keep, the only time I've slept anywhere else was when we first came here. We all slept kind of in that common area down below because it was the only one that was open. As well, somewhere on the first floor near the library.
Yeah.
Byron will go have a look.
I'll go with him.
He'll also suggest there's two options. Perhaps you sleep somewhere else and see if the marks follow you, or might be able to, between Rose and I, could use something like alarm, or maybe Rose has something, some sort of magic circle that might trigger or protect you. My alarm might sense that something was there. Might be able to catch it in the act.
Maybe. Fortunately, I don't have anything. Well, I could. That won't. No, that won't last long enough. Because I could do protection from evil, from my lyre, but that won't last long enough for me to get like full night's sleep.
Yeah, as if you're getting a full night's sleep after this.
No, it's not happening. It's totally not happening. But yeah, Elishan will lead Byron down into like the area where when we first showed up to the keep, because it was for a few days like the upper levels weren't clear, and so there was like the small like little chamber that we kind of like all shared. The one that Bazrag interrupted me, like having my Durakai nightmares.
Yeah, but yeah, you find nothing there. For as long as you search, there's none of the marks.
Is there something clerical that could be done, Rose? Some sort of circle.
There are a few options. It depends on exactly what you want.
I mean, that seems like a lot of trouble.
I mean, maybe this thing is. Maybe you've just been lucky so far. I don't know how this escalates or how this creature gets any better at what it's currently trying to attempt, but I don't feel we can carry on and not change our habits.
You haven't read anything about anything like this, have you? In any of your books?
Can I make the history check? The histoire?
Yeah, you can.
I mean, he's got keen mind, so if there's anything that he has read that Rob knows about.
To be fair, yeah, you
Oh.
do.
That's a 27. On the histoire.
You have not read anything about this.
And nothing comes to mind, I'm afraid. I was never really a speciality of mine. I could always try find something on it.
I used to, study the coterminous planes and everything like that, but it's been, with all of the chaos going on, it's been ages since I've looked at any of those.
Out of character, you have true sight. Do we know that you have true sight? Like,
Yes.
would you just share that information? Oh,
I used it in like the fight with the deep drake, or before.
Fair
the fight
enough.
with- Yeah.
have you tried looking through the planes with true sight?
Not in my room. Do you think, should I do it? I can. Should I do it now, or do you think if
How long does it last?
an hour?
Okay. And you will just have the. Do you have the 2 or the 1?
Just the one.
Just the 1. I mean, it might have left. You might see a trail. It might have left something of itself. Maybe.
Worth a try.
And
Suppose.
otherwise, you're just going to be laying awake or asleep.
Even
And it's our best guess.
if I sleep somewhere else, it's yeah. So on Byron's suggestion, I will cast True Sight and see what I can see
All right.
around the keep.
So you're in your room, and the true sight kind of comes over, and you just see like glowing, this sort of bright, kind of blue, almost like illuminated, these same marks all over every wall, floor, ceiling of your room.
And
They're
nowhere
everywhere. They're not on any of your stuff, but they're just on every like structural surface.
Is it throughout the keep?
Every
Or just.
Just my room. Just
there's and then
And
if you
if I,
kind
like-
of go outside and look up at the window, they're kind of all around in a circle around the window.
Is there a trail that she can see that leads away from it that we're looking for, or is
There's
it
no trail.
okay?
There's no trail.
so like
Tons of these marks
it does
in
it
your
look
room,
like
just everywhere.
does it look like at some point, like whenever it was around the window, kind of like looking in, was that like a day it couldn't get in for some reason? Or like how old are the marks by on the window on the outside? Like
They look the same, completely varied. Like some could be, a couple days ago. Some could be a couple months ago.
Okay.
But they're just like in your room. You're kind of taken aback because, like, everywhere you put your feet, or everywhere you stand, or everywhere you look, you just see them.
yeah, in the bathroom, and are they like in the tub too, like just everywhere, like up on the ceiling, in the bathroom, the tub,
Yeah, they're just everywhere.
or like in Morwen's room, or is it centered in like my sleeping chamber?
No, it's centered in your sleeping chamber.
Okay, and I'll tell the others that the marks are everywhere, even though there are not claw marks where I'm seeing some of the trails, right?
Do they have the same shape?
But they have the same
Yeah,
shape.
they're exactly the
That's a good
same. Well, I mean, none of them are exactly the same.
And so with the true sight, seeing like are there feet marks as well, like feet and hand or claw? Like are there
It's
four?
just these four claws, just over and over again.
Like one hand?
Potentially, it's just the same 4 marks.
Okay.
And
You also see that every NPC is a dragon.
every what?
Every surface.
NPC is a dragon.
Okay, every NPC is a dragon. Okay. And there's no trail leading away. It looks like this thing might have flown or something, landed around the window and got in.
I suppose it could.
There's no trail leading away.
Yeah, there's no trail. It starts right outside my window and then everywhere inside my room. Like, are there marks like behind like dressers too?
Yeah.
So,
Every
are they
surface of the wall.
So like on like the stuff that's like behind furniture?
Yeah.
Are there still like the fresh marks, like they were there like after the furniture got there?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's definitely like not interacting with. So it might be like Byron said, might be maybe something on the ethereal plane because it's like not interacting with any of the objects other than the stone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which might be... Sorry, you go.
I was just going to say, is there something special about the stone that's allowing it to interact with the stone and nothing else?
I mean, it might be that it has to claim purchase to something, and that's its intent. So maybe with strong enough intent, it can affect a different plane, somewhat like a poltergeist or something.
How often between the 3 of you can you guys use True Sight?
It's
like only see, I think.
And I can only use it once a day.
Once a day. So
just should mark that down.
I also noticed that it costs 25 gold to use.
Which is not gold schmold.
I mean, I technically can prepare it if need be.
It might behoove us to set an ambush, because you can't really go to war with something super powerful lurking around your keep.
I think the war is going to come for us regardless.
Well, sure, but if we have a number of days, potentially we could try to set some kind of trap or some kind of ambush in the interim, with alarm spells, symbol spells, and then, the idea being if there's an active alarm spell set up in Elshan's room, then whoever's sleeping in there, and we could all sleep in there. Slumber party.
People will talk.
People will talk, but they talk about us anyway. And alarm spell goes off, and then True Sights, and see what happens. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
There's not any marks that I can see in like Morwen's room, so perhaps if we all sleep up in my room, I could stay in the bed, and you guys could be in her chamber, and that way, like, keeping watch.
Sure.
Maybe.
I presume the person with True Sight needs to be in here, though. We can't sit across the hall and see through.
Oh, well, the way, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Rob, but I kind of like pictured like our floors or whatever as all like 3 interconnected rooms. Like there's like a doorway that separates each. It's kind of like like a hotel with like doors in between each room.
Well, a railroad apartment.
Yeah, that's kind of how I see it.
Okay, so like you wouldn't be across the hall. Like there'd just be like a set of doors. But
I mean, I somewhat feel if we're going to be keeping watch over the window and yourself, being in the same room would help. But
yes, well, true. I just suggested it because it doesn't seem like it goes in there.
but we want to confront it anyway, so
True.
maybe it won't. Maybe we'll see it outside. Maybe it won't come if someone else is here. Who knows?
Elishon like kind of looks at all of like the marks around her room. It's like, no, it's definitely been here whenever someone else has been here.
But awake, staring it in the face.
Maybe not. Honestly, like from like the marks, like it's going through like furniture and not like disturbing it in any way. Part of me doesn't think there's actually anything on this plane to see. It's like you said, it's somewhere else affecting things. So if we are to catch it, it'll take finding a way of imprisoning it while it's here, but in another plane. So it has to be like something that can prevent it from leaving another plane, but still be in this where it overlaps in ours. If that makes sense. I feel like I'm not making sense.
I mean, we can only do what we can do, and if it's managing to affect this realm, it must be partially in here somehow.
Can from like being able to see the trail, the blue trails or whatever with like the true sight, is there like any, I mean, I know I've already asked if I can identify like what kind of creature or thing it is, but being able to see that, does it help? Can I do like another one or?
I'll let you do another one, but it looks the same. Like,
Okay.
you know, there is no precedent for any kind of creature you would know that would make marks like this in this way.
Doesn't even matter what skill I use. A 9's probably not going to cut it.
No.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll figure out what to do.
Do I think our Pale Guard friend or my Pale Guard friend would be able to lend any insight into this?
She may have more experience with kind of the sort of darker, more kind of scary side of the world, but you would know that she's sort of more of like a Van Helsing type.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about the shit movie here, where he doesn't really give a shit about the lore behind anything. He just kind of turns up and kills stuff. Or in her case, she just turns up and kind of does what she's told to kill stuff.
And takes all the credit.
Pretty much. Like, you know, she might, but you think it's unlikely.
All right.
And if it's extra planar stuff, then she'll have no idea. She's more about like vampire killing life.
Alrighty then.
Yeah.
And I can go to the halls, maybe try find any relevant texts or anyone with a speciality in this, extra planar creatures or something.
All right, that's a good idea.
But won't take me too long, hopefully. Didn't you have the scrying to be done? There's a long time till you have to rest.
Well, I had suggested that we scry on Amon's Gatestone.
That was on my agenda for today before I was woken up.
Sorry.
It's fine.
I swear one of these days I'm going to wake you guys all up with good news. She, like, smiles and it's a little like,
Absolutely.
We're on the screen now, or would you like to wait?
We can scry now.
Alright, who's scrying?
Rose and blue.
Yeah.
Okay. So you take the gate stone and you sort of prepare the scrying, and your vision kind of like goes black for a moment, and then it comes up again. You see a figure standing in what appears to be a room with black walls. He's different, not the Amon you're used to, but there's something like scarily reminiscent of him. He has this same kind of strange hunched posture, and the same kind of burning intensity in his eyes, the long hair that's tied up in the exact same way. No doubt is in your mind this is the same Amon, but with a different body. You cannot recognize his surroundings, but he's talking to someone. You can't make out what's being said, but his face is curled into a cold sneer, and it's this kind of younger guy, much younger than he was before. And then you see this just for a moment, and then it fades again.
He's younger than he was before.
Yeah, but it looks like a different person who is younger.
Right.
So he was speaking to someone, and he had and I couldn't hear, but could I discern from any of his body language or anything like that whether or not he was like satisfied with the way the conversation was going, or?
He was sneering, so it kind of seemed like a grim satisfaction, I would say. Yeah.
Okay. All right, I will relay that information
happy, which is not a good thing.
Upon hearing that on the other side of the gate stone is Amon, Elishan is going to immediately put it back into her bag of holding, so it's no longer on this plane of existence.
Good plan. Very well. So, what would everyone else like to do with sort of the rest of their day? I imagine it's probably, like super early in the morning, so you've got all day to do whatever it is you'd like to do.
Byron would like to do his... He spent months at this point mastering... Well, his whole life mastering illusion magic, but months at this point just casting it day after day after day after day after day. So there's all kinds of things, extra guards and maybe like a few giants and various things all over the place. And I imagine most people have become informed or something. He's probably told less
like
people than
everyone. Yeah, but I imagine it's probably been spread around by now that like, the fucking dragons flying overhead or whatever ridiculous stuff is like, it's just the weird wizard who lives in the tower.
So I think, because we've already had a couple of days past, he would have been experimenting with new magic that he has been heavily researching into. So he would take time with Mirage Arcane, his new toy, and it's like a mile by mile? Yeah, it's a mile square. And you can make it look, sound, smell, even feel like something else. Like make even terrain difficult. He can make structures that you can actually interact with and that kind of thing. And he will have been standing on the battlements, I don't know, Gandalf-esque or something.
Raining for drama.
Yeah, unnecessary, but for drama. And he'll be shaping the very land itself. If there has to be transport in and out, he might leave the path like to the gate until last, maybe. But he is like shaping the very land itself into something difficult. Like he's putting illusions of cover where no cover exists. He's maybe like building watchtowers for people to like find, interact with, and then he can just make them disappear again. when they've climbed however many feet, and there is this amazing display of magic as he shapes the very existence of the world around him, and he's been doing this day in and day out.
So imagine, it's probably like a horrible swamp or something, like all around the keep. Sort of like something really hard to move through.
Yeah, I was thinking because it's all swampy,
I thought this
snowy.
place was called Frosthaven, not Swamp Haven.
I mean, I can make it
Just
into
the one guy working on his
water.
25.
Because I could make it into pools of icy water or something, so they go through the ice and get cold and chill them to the bone. It could be something like that.
That's super dope.
So he'll be
brand.
doing that every day. So the several miles of terrain has been changed so far.
Yeah, definitely.
And then when he's done that and maybe created a few more 20 by 20 foot or something battalions of men for these various walls.
Imagine when you're doing the Mirage Arcane, you see like I imagine because it's Byron, he does it like at the same time every day, and you see like Allfanger kids like at the forest opposite the keep, like turn up to watch it, and that sort of thing. Just the insane display of power that Byron has.
Yes. I think he might be if any representatives of the Allfanger did get concerned what he was doing, he would say that it's or assure them that it's just illusion.
Like I imagine Arthas would just be like, "Don't worry, it's the wizard. It's good for us." Like chill out to any sort of naysayers kind of thing.
And because I'm illusion mage, I can change this at will, so I can blend the pieces into each other, or I can draw it back, like sections of it, like the tide, almost. So he'll do that to get that out of the way for the day, perhaps. And I mean, if there's nothing else comes up, he might go and study up, like he said, in case anyone else wanted to come.
How many days have we had?
So I think it's about 4 or 5 since Guy had left. So you've got 5 until he is supposed to arrive, or 4 or 5 till he's supposed to arrive.
And like our keep itself, are there any points in like our inner walls that are weaker than any others for any particular
There's probably
reason?
a few, but at this point it's pretty well built and maintained, and like the builders are sort of working overtime at the moment to make sure it's all well fortified.
Okay.
But
well,
I mean, there's always a few weak points.
I think above the gatehouse itself, because I'm not entirely sure what we've got over there, really. But I have stone shape that I can do with my lyre once a day. And so I was thinking about trying to do something like add like crenellations or like some kind of reinforcement from like arrows or something from like for like a
that's a cool idea.
because I can do 5 feet in any dimension and it's permanent. So I could make a wall that's
you can like raise the wall and then like create murder holes in it or something for your archers or something.
Yeah.
So they've got like a big defensive spot. That could be cool. Yeah.
So I don't know how long I've had the lyre, but I just thought of that.
Yeah,
So I
I mean,
don't
you can have been doing that.
Okay.
That's no worries.
Then yeah, I will have been doing that for as long as Rob deems I have been doing that with a focus on like the area of the gatehouse and then reinforcing more weak spots and stuff just to make things. I'm gonna sing at the stone, and it's gonna be like in Labyrinth, whenever like Ludo's all like whoa, and just the rocks go all like wibbly. It'd get better.
Ludo says,
Sarah.
But let's all be honest, the real hero of that was the Fox Knight. He's my favorite. Oh wait, that's a different film. No,
it is that film. Sir Didymus.
That's the one.
That's the one.
Ambrosia.
It does make me wish that Crane had been more of a night character, but whatever. So
You take that back.
no, Crane is perfect. I imagine Rose has been kind of continuing her training and helping the sort of small folk.
Yeah.
Preparing them.
One thing that I've probably kind of noticed as I've walked around and stuff like that is a lot of people probably don't necessarily have the best education. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to I'm kind of starting more into offering blessings and things like that for people. And I will ask Elishan if she would like to assist me with this, but I would like to begin to assist people with perhaps writing, final letters home to people who may not necessarily be, here in Frosthaven, kind of like different things like that. So that's kind of like what I would like to do.
Most of you are going to die soon, so would you like some help writing letters home?
Hey.
That's awesome for that, Jade. That's a really good idea.
And then once I've gathered them, I'd like to go to Hollister with the letters.
Okay. So he is just in overdrive at the moment. Like, you're pretty sure there's 2 Hollisters because he's like seems to be everywhere, like sorting everything out. Like he's just scribbling away and sending letters and making sure everything's working properly and in preparation.
So I'll just kind of like knock on the door. Do you have a moment, Hollister?
Of course. He sort of says, and you can see like his hair is just greasy and like he probably hasn't washed in a while, and he's just like looks a complete mess, but he's working hard.
I have no doubt in my mind, should the worst come to pass, you have an exit strategy for getting out of here.
He sort of does like shifty eyes for a moment.
Yes, I expect that, but I have one final request for you. Could you see that these letters are delivered to whom they are addressed to?
I imagine there's like a huge bundle.
Yeah. They are. Thank you.
Yes, I could do this.
You are a far better man than people give you credit for.
And you do see like a very, very slight smile at that that's quickly like overshadowed by his professional demeanor, and he just inclines his head and says, "My thank you, miss."
Lathander's blessings be with you.
And with you.
And hopefully...
And sort of like, his head is kind of bowed slightly and he's just looking up at you.
My hope is that perhaps we will end up having to return some of these letters to the families. But I will let you get to the rest of your work.
Thank you. And you close the door, and then you hear this weird, like, sort of sound come from it. It's like, it's quite quiet. But you just hear, like, kind of weird sound that you weren't expecting, and it sort of maybe makes you jump slightly as you close the door.
And I'll just go about the rest of my business.
Would you open it to have a look, or would you just leave?
I probably would pause.
Is Elishan there?
Is Elishan there? I guess it's up to Jade.
Elishan can be here if she wants.
Okay. So I'll let you finish. You're going to pause and what?
Pause and kind of like give Elishan a look, I guess, and be like...
Elishan's going to open the door.
He's not there.
Mm.
And then you just see that, he's gone.
If he's teleporting, is he getting around the Forbiddens?
He is, somehow.
Worthless spell.
Right? Spent a lot of time on that.
It's the Hollister. And this is not me making bullshit up on the fly. This is a thing that has been established in Hollister's lore by me, for me. So shout leave me
So it's
alone.
bullshit. It's just pre-established bullshit.
Exactly.
Pre-established
Thank
DM bullshit.
I mean, isn't
That
that
could literally
DMing?
be the title of my biography.
Yeah,
It
established
could literally be
bullshit.
my biography.
Established bullshit. That's
All
the
right.
title of this episode.
God damn it. Yeah. So, as for the rest of the day, there's nothing really interesting that happened. In other words, Rob has no encounters planned for the rest of this day. So, unless there's anything else you guys would like to do today,
Are we trying
Remy,
to plan an ambush for this creature?
Yeah.
That's what I was about to ask.
Is anyone else keen to go for the capital for any reason? Because I'm guessing Byron will go spend a lot of the day there.
I can go with you.
Yeah, fair enough.
Maybe he sets the cure brewing for that day or whatever. You know, just simmering,
Yeah, sure.
and he'll. If everyone wants to come with and find his new drinking buddy again.
Elishon and Rose clearly stayed behind, so it'll be you and Remy.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So yeah, you can sort of arrive at the keep, or not the keep, at the halls. Make your way into the library. Maybe Remy goes off to find Grand Archivist Thrisk.
Yeah, I forgot about Grandar.
Or maybe he hangs around, I don't know. But yeah.
What was the
But,
guy's name
you
again?
Would
Thrisk.
Grand Archivist Thrisk.
Grand Archivist Thrisk, great.
And yeah, you would like I mentioned, Byron would sort of head over to the kind of planar section, and you would see that it's not
There's
that
one
popular.
corner of it that's got scorch marks in the marble.
Yeah, probably.
From certain or something.
Yeah, definitely. No, that would have been cleaned up. But yeah, you would see there's sort of one. There's only really one person who's like super into the planes, kind of Elishan style. And he's there, and you know him to be this kind of super nervous, like jittery, stuttery kind of guy, and he's just like reading a book, holding it close, like as though it's a shield, and he's trying to like stave off people. And he's just kind of just cowering in the corner, like reading. You can sort of look through the books and start pulling out things.
You don't even know, man. If you knew what I knew, what could come and get us from all these planes, you would be so casual.
He's like Morty, and everyone else is like Rick. Like, he's the one normal guy who gets it.
Morty crossed with the crazy head professor who says aliens a lot.
Yeah. Like,
He's just sitting there going interplanar.
Yeah. So it's a small department, but there are tons of lore there.
Definitely make an investigation check. See what you find.
Okay, cool. I'd like him to Byron mostly be moving towards maybe to talk to this guy, but he's kind of just taking it all in, and the mage hand is just sliding books off a shelf as he goes.
Yeah, you would get the impression that like a loud noise would sort of like make this guy jump. So everything has to be kind of slow and steady. But that's kind of Byron's specialty. So
that's a 19. I rolled fairly poorly, but
yeah. I mean, you find some stuff. You find like lots of information that you already know, sort of concerning like movement between planes and the fact that there's more planes than anyone could ever comprehend, and the fact that there have been incidents of creatures like from other planes in their planes influencing our plane, but you can't you're not finding anything specific, nothing that's like, this is what I'm talking about. You haven't had that eureka moment.
Is this guy like head of the department, as far as I know, even if it's just one person, or
it's not. I mean, he's an archivist, and it's sort of more like it's his specialty. Like technically, his job is the whole library, but he only really just sits in this section and deals with this section. Yeah.
So Byron like comes to a stop, a small distance from this man, whatever is appropriate, and archivist.
He doesn't look up.
Hey, Jumpy! My friend's talking to you.
And yeah, again, he would drop his book, his glasses go askew. Sorry, sir. Sorry, sir. And he like bows slightly, but he's not really sure why.
That's right. I am due the proper respect. After you, Byron.
He's just nodding.
We have something that could be of a plainer nature, an incident up north. I was looking for an expert. Would you be that?
He just does like a really loud gulp, you know, and it's the sort of thing where he knows he's an expert, but he really doesn't want to tell anyone he's an expert in case people start giving him like attention for it. So he just like nods very, very slowly and very, very slightly, like almost imperceptible. Yes, I suppose.
And then, like, regales him. Companion of mine, their sleeping chamber seems to have invaded by something that is not entirely there, nor it is entirely not there.
And you're not talking about Arthas, right? Never mind. Sorry, bad joke.
There are scratches, a fraction of which I'm told are visible, which I've witnessed myself, seem concentrated underneath her sleeping place. Though upon viewing other planes using true sight, it seems the room is covered on every available surface with a glowing blue or vaguely blue tinted claw marks. And he kind of like holds out his hand and kind of like spreads them to, well, the exact width, I suppose. There's a congregation around the window on the external of the building, and then they are limited only to her room. She is the focus of quite some interesting attention, generally.
She's a shit.
What did you say?
She's a shit magnet.
She's a shit.
Yes.
I wondered if you familiar.
And so like as you speak, he sort of like becomes more and more engaged and sort of forgets himself a bit, kind of scoops up his book. It starts not like nodding along with you. He says, I'm not sure about specifics, but I think well, it's clearly something extra planar, because obviously you can't, you know, and it's clearly and he's sort of like,
Imagine that I
loses
don't
himself
know.
in
Why
the
don't you tell me?
hold on, and he like goes and like looks in starts like pulling out a ton of books and like sort of like dumps them on a desk and just begins like flipping through them, and takes like 10 minutes just looking through all these books like in silence while you're just watching him. And he says, yes, look here, planar creatures, they, well, so if they have a reason to be attached to someone, then they well, they can't very well be, can they? That would be ridiculous. So if it's where she's sleeping, then, well, then it must be coming for her.
So a ghost has a crush on Elishan?
I think something in Byron just drops just slightly. I know of one such creature.
What is it?
Oh, I'm not sure if I should say, but I don't know if Byron has the same qualms. I don't think Byron would do. And it's not like been put under like secrecy, like a gag order, I presume. And also, I'm not sure he'd pick up necessarily on like the social cues of her having worked here and scarred the surfaces and all the rest of it. I believe it could be a tiefling.
A tiefling. I know tieflings from elsewhere. They're not like innately magic.
One was stuck between
Tiefling.
the planes and has special reason to cling to her.
And you see this look of like, oh shit, like come
Yeah.
over his face.
Yeah.
And he just like slams the book closed. I don't know anything about that, sorry.
Remy looks very confused.
I'm not... Byron can like lean slightly closer towards you maybe and goes, I believe it could be Kidius
Ah, Rex.
of sorts.
Who? I make an inside check, you do.
Sorry?
25.
Okay, this man's face is suddenly riddled with guilt.
I just rolled a net 20, but
This man's face is suddenly riddled with guilt.
Beats my 19.
Do you want me to say it again?
yes.
He looks very guilty.
You look like somebody shit in your cereal. What's your problem?
Problem?
Yeah,
I don't have a problem.
I think you're full of crap.
He sort of like takes a step back.
You know, I'm
It's the dance
best
in
buds
between.
with the Grand Archivist Thrisk. He's my drinking buddy. If I thought that you were being withholding with one of the new biggity wiggity wigs of,
I point to Byron.
you know, I might have to report you. But if you cooperate with us, I think I won't do that.
No, yes. What? I'm not
What do you know?
withholding anything. And he sort of like steps back again. And like he kind of bumps into a bookshelf behind him. He jumps, then hits someone. And he says, "It was an accident. I didn't mean to. What?" And he sort of like realizes what he's saying and like stops.
What is
Waiting
an
for you to.
accident?
I'm not going to pull my blades out because Remy has more sense than that now. But I am going to like kind of put my hand on my sword, my big, scary, double-bladed, oozing black mesma rapier sword thing.
Fuck yeah. You just, it's the book is all. I mean, she read it, but I read it first. That was, you know. What? It was, she did it. It was her fault. And sort of like kind of forces the sort of words out of himself. He's just like slowly trying to inch away from the two of you.
Byron clocks all the exits and how we can intercept this man, and also all the rules of what it is, like citizen's arrest or whatever within a wizard's college. But yeah, he's just got his eyebrow like raised.
Yeah. And you just see like ideas welling up in his eyes.
Remy's going to change his tone a little bit. Oh, did you want to go?
No, you go.
Okay. He's going to say,
Listen there, Mr. Nalo. You know, we're not unreasonable people. I used to be very unreasonable, but then I found God. So I'm inclined to try to help you out. Now I can see from the look on your face that you did something dumb, and most people don't know about it. This information's gonna come out. It always does. But you're gonna want a couple helpful do-gooders on your side, like me and Mr. Hux here. So what do you say you come clean?
Okay. The book she was reading, the ritual. I put it together, and he sort of like holds up his hands as though, you know, is it? I pieces of the ritual in different books, and I put them together, and I started reading it, but then I felt this like power coming from it, so I stopped. But then I just put the book away. But she found it, and then it took him, and he just begins like full on crying. He's like, "It's my fault. Oh God!" Like,
I'll just go over to him. I'll like kind of rub him along the cheek. And like,
there, slap him. Be a man. Never mind, you're wasted. All right, Byron, this didn't make any sense to you? You know what he's talking about?
I think I can piece it together.
All right.
Like
I'll take out my flask and give it to man. Here, have a drink.
He like has a tiny sip and like recoils. Like
I kind of take my hand underneath and just push it up.
it's like dribbling all over his face, and he's just
you're
weeping.
wasting it. God damn it.
my colleague has said, this truth will come out. It looks like it has been weighing on you for some time. If you know more about this book, and he like looks around the library, perhaps you should find it, and perhaps we can work to reverse it.
He shakes his head. I threw it in the river.
You are just full of good ideas, aren't you?
I think there's like a momentary twitch. Like you wrote the book. What? You monster.
That's what gets Byron. But I think Byron would know because he was here during like the trial, like, even if it was like in the periph or whatever, he would know like a big part of her trial was that the book was never found after whatever happened. So if this guy got the book before she woke up and discovered everything was gone, that means like he grabbed that book while she was like laying out on the floor before anybody else showed up.
Yeah.
Just
yeah. So he like
FYI.
skedaddled in, and
Byron is smart enough to cotton that.
piece that together. Yeah. Yeah. Basically, like it would mean that this guy would like see, you know, Al there like smoking or whatever, and just be like, oh shit, she read my book. Get rid of it so that he's not in trouble. And then he's probably the one who like came back and woke her up and been like, oh, what happened? You know.
And this was like over a year ago that it's gone in the river, and
Just about.
I mean,
Yeah.
if this book had such power, maybe it wouldn't have been destroyed. Maybe magic book and all.
It was totes match.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh God, it's the clue for the Smithby arc. There's going to be some sort of eel playing a summoner.
Oh my God.
Well, be that as it may, you understand that book greater than anyone. What is your consideration for returning the tiefling? Do you know which plane he was sent to, or a way to access that? Because we don't have a clear way to get to the Chaos Plane whenever we like, right?
We also know he's not in
No, you
Duskin,
don't.
thanks to Rose and her communion with
Right.
Bender.
Yeah. He shakes his head. and says, I didn't. I stopped reading it when I felt the call. It scared me. All I know is that it sent him away. It could have rendered his soul and spread it around. It could have sent him to oh God! It could have sent him anywhere. And he just starts crying again. And like this is full on loud blubbering, and like people are just like coming to see what's happening and like kind of peering down the aisle.
Whenever anybody pokes their head in, unless it's someone he recognizes personally, Remy's just gonna go, "Fuck off!"
Yeah. You see like people just like jump and run away.
All right, well, between the two of you, you're pretty smart guys. How do you pull a kitty spirit out of the whatever muck plane?
He just like throws up his arms like it's hopeless. Without knowing where he is. I don't know.
Is there a way to, like, talk to him? Like a seance?
He's just like shaking his head. But you don't know if he's saying no or just like can't come to terms with what's happening.
Byron like turns to Remy. Elishan might know more, might know how to contact him. She's had more contact with him than anyone. I'm not entirely sure how to get this book back.
Can't Rose do a spell where she can, like, find an object?
She was at the trial.
But
the book was gone before the trial, so she wouldn't be familiar with it.
Ah, okay. I don't know. What do we do with this guy?
I'm sure Elishan's world would be a lot lighter with the confession that this man has given. Perhaps she would like to see it or hear it directly.
He's just like shaking his head, like staring at you with just pure like plea for mercy on it.
We're gonna do you a favor, buddy. You get to clear your conscience.
No. Please, no, not that.
God, you are a wuss.
You come with us, and if you work towards finding the poor soul that you sent to God knows where, or God knows where, then perhaps you will get your redemption. And there will be...
He like sort of still like shaking his head, like desperate to avoid it. Please, I can't.
Well, I mean, if it were up to me, I would just drag you back by your ass. But we probably got to go through some kind of bureaucratic paperwork, right? You got to talk to the Grand Archivist or something.
But
No, please don't.
What was that, Byron?
I was going to suggest something similar, that you either fix what you've done or you face the consequences. There are two very clear choices.
I can't. He's like hyperventilating, like you can't believe it's happening to him. Hi. No. And he's just he's like babbling now.
He doesn't seem to want to make a choice. I think we should make it for him. I'm gonna go talk to Thrisk. You want to keep an eye on him? Or do you want to talk to Thrisk and I'll keep an eye on him? Either way, I'm fine.
You can speak to him if you wish.
All right. And, you know, if he decides to man up sometime in the interim, I mean, all the better for him. But he's got, what?
I'll look at my imaginary watch.
20 minutes.
I imagine at this point he's just like clutching Byron's feet or like trying to reach for them just to plead, like, please don't make me, you know. But yeah, Remy, you just kind of step up to the office, knock on the door.
If Byron in the interim is going to try and convince him to come clean, but Byron is not good at convincing people to do anything. So you know how that
he's not gonna do it by choice. But yeah, you kind of enter the Grand Archivist's dress, and it's like probably about midday at this point, I imagine.
How you doing, Trisky?
He puts down a glass which is very clearly full of sherry.
If it isn't my dear friend Remington.
It's good to see you.
Holy shit. He is not known for remembering people's names.
Well, not that I know that, but I'll consider it an honor.
Yeah, it is.
He says, I hope you've brought some of your special preserve.
Oh, have I ever?
And I pull it out for him and from my little bag, and it's I kind of wrapped it up in paper with a little string and everything, so it looks like a fancy presentation.
And yeah, here you go. While you
you spoil me.
I look forward to it every time. While you enjoy that, we got a little bit of a thing. Remember Elishan, half elf, pretty kind of a klutz. I think she might have been on trial here for doing something shitty.
I remember something about a trial.
Right.
And he just starts sipping on the moonshine.
Well, anyway, she's one of the co-owners of our keep up in the Borderlands, and we came back here because she was being harassed by something that, was living on another plane of existence. She's a shit magnet. It happens all the time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But we came back here for some advice on planar Hoosier-Wutsits, and wouldn't you know it,
Indeed.
but your guy in the library, he confesses to the crime that Elishan was convicted of. So I'm here to rat him out to you.
Yes. Very nice.
Wait, who?
Oh, what's his name? Perenello.
Era what?
Perenello, am I saying that right? Nalo?
And he's sort of you see him trying to remember all the people who work for him.
I know
And
you
it's
got a long
probably
list
about,
of people.
20. Yeah. And he's
Oh, yes, of course. Tall fellow. Large.
Sure,
Thanks.
cries a lot.
Thinking of different people. Cries. Oh, the weird one. Sits in the corner. Yes, him, yes. Yes, what about him?
Yeah, well, it turns out that he is the guy that he made this book or something, or he read this book and summoned some kind of otherworldly power and then left it out. Didn't say anything to anybody. Elishan, being the curious kitty that she is, reads it and, accidentally dooms a man to torment.
Yes, good, yes.
Yeah, well,
he's just sort of half listening again.
yeah.
What do you need?
Well, we need this guy to help us. And he's being kind of a weenie about it.
So, you want me to...
Oh, I don't know. I could drag him out of here by his pubic hair and make him do it. I just figured out of respect for our relationship, I should come to you first.
Oh.
Definitely. But he's not 100% sure what you've been talking about, and he's not really listening. But he's he hears you mention the respect of your relationship. He's like, oh,
well, that's very nice. Of course. Whatever you need. I'll sign a release.
he starts writing. Or I guess a quill would start writing.
Right.
It basically says this guy is Remy. He does what he wants.
Yeah.
You are a most gracious archivist.
And you are a most skilled brewer and a dear, dear friend.
He just hands you this piece of paper.
Thank you very much. Would you like to personally chastise the man? I wouldn't want to deprive you of the honor.
No.
Okay.
No, it's all right.
All right. All right. Well, you enjoy that bottle, and once the war is over, I think you should come on up to the keep. We're gonna throw quite a party.
Oh, I will be most honored to do so.
They got illusions everywhere up there. It's pretty impressive.
I should like to see it someday. And I would like to see your distillery.
You better believe it. That secret recipe stays secret, though. That's old Hoochmonger family recipes.
Wouldn't change it for the world.
And he just like smiles and begins unscrewing it like quickly. He's defo got like shaky alcoholic hands, I think.
All right, Drisky. Thanks so much.
And I'll head back up.
Thank you, Remington.
No.
Yeah. Close it behind. And you see just like you just see Baron like groveling at the feet of bored-looking Byron.
Look, man, I have faced a great deal, and I have a great deal on my plate. Plain of gods and cures for unknown diseases wait for no man, and you are delaying me significantly. My friend is vexed, thus I am vexed. And shortly there will be a war, which will again disturb me. Would you please, for God's sake, stand up and just come with me?
Like, he just like slowly begins to get to his feet, like kind of taken aback by the sort of un-Byron-like tone. And it's just like wiping the eyes and like the snot out of his face. And I imagine there's definitely like, you know, a line of snot that just wipes straight across his cheek. He's like, oh, I'm sorry.
As I come in, I'll have the writ from the archivist out. And I'll kind of show him the seal of the Grand Archivist on it.
You know what this is?
What?
This is a writ releasing you into my custody. Says if you don't help me, you're out of the damn halls.
Oh, okay. Oh. And he just begins like starting to weep again.
All right. It's all right.
We'll comfort him.
Let's go back home, huh?
I'll look up to
This is my home.
Now my home. You're coming with me. And if you're a good boy, you get to go back.
What?
Shut up.
What if...
Take us home.
You willfully come with us?
He just gulps and like again nods very slightly.
Good. And he puts a hand on both of their shoulders and we're gone.
Definitely. Dan and Dylan get inspiration for that. That was just that scene made me so happy.
That was
Good
great.
speech by Dan. Great fucking Remy and Thrisk bromance. Oh, just love it.
Yeah, I love the romance. I don't know like, with Byron if he's trying to. You don't know if he's frustrated or if he's trying to implore the man and just doesn't know the direction. How to go for that? But yeah, they go poof onto a snowy wall top, much further north. They've completely forgotten.
Just like snot bubbles crystallizing on the man's face.
I think Byron like turns around and just prestidigitates him without even looking.
Yeah.
I was walking.
And he's just like shivering, like teeth chattering in the cold. And he's dressed in like really fancy kind of archivist clothes that probably look a little bit disheveled. So yeah, he's cold.
Would you like a hot buttered rum and a warm towel?
Yes, please.
No! First you help us, then you can have that warm towel.
Well played. Yeah, so you kind of lead him towards the keep and he's like just utter wimp.
So yeah, I guess we'll look for Elishon and Rose
Can we pause for 1 minute before we do that? I just need to be right back, please.
I can go
Hey,
too.
Take a break.
Yeah, let's just take a quick break.
Yeah.
Cool.
Quick break.
Oh.
Back.
Hello. How's my internet connection been?
It's got better, actually. At the beginning, like I said,
It has.
there wasn't one sentence really that wasn't distorted in some way, but you managed to have full conversation so far without problem. So
That's great. Okay. Good. I love that scene so much. That's like one of my favorites that we've done. That's like a sort of more funny scene.
yeah, I enjoyed that.
I did love Byron's speech. I think that's fucking awesome. I was like, for fuck's sake, man, come on.
Yeah, look, man, I have to face chaos gods, cure unknown diseases, and they wait for no man, and yet you waste my time, kind of thing.
So good. So good.
Well, that was an interesting turn of events.
Yeah. Would you believe it if I told you that I came up with all that shit on the fly and did not know that was going to happen? And it was just subconscious genius. The book was never found.
I honestly, I couldn't remember whether it could or not, which is why I asked, like, well, where is it? I couldn't remember that it wasn't found or something in
To be honest, I was like, if it was found, then it was probably found in the river. Like, they just locate object, whatever, and was like, oh, there it is. Someone's not tried very hard to hide it.
Well, I imagined it flowing all the way down river to Smithby. That's my canon.
I mean,
Plain
it's just like a great demon being destroyed by the eel warriors of Smithby.
They open up to the eel plane and they're in heaven.
Yeah. Smithby is basically just like Sigil. It's a magical planar city.
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit, Sigil.
Sigil.
Canon.
How can this get any better? But how is this so good?
It's the sort of thing where I do want to do a Smithby one shot, but it would just never do Smithby justice.
No, it's better to be a legendary place.
Yeah, I'm in agreement there.
Hey, so have you been planning that, like, with the dude since the beginning?
Nope. I just told everyone that I came up with it right this second.
Okay, jeez.
Basically, I was just gonna have like a little dude there who's kind of shy, and again, I wasn't expecting you to come to the library. Then I was like, oh shit, if he's the planar guy, like he would know something about that. And then, like, basically, I was like, that'd be kind of interesting. And then you mentioned Kidius, and I just like my voice said like, or I said like. Or I described him like recoiling and pretending. Yeah. And I was like, I did that before thinking about it, and then I was like, shit, why did he act like that? And I was like, oh, it's his fault. That'd be dope, and it would fuck with C. So bonus points.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I hadn't actually thought that. Even though you kept going claws like a human hand, like repeatedly, to me, like that just screams Kidius, like a tiefling. But I hadn't thought about that whatsoever until you got to that point, and I was like, something in Byron sinks just slightly.
Yeah. But no, I love that whole scene. It was awesome. And the name of that guy is the first wizard I ever played. So there you go. Yeah, because I was like, fuck, need a name. And then that one just popped into my head.
I didn't ask both not to put you under even more pressure, but also I'm not sure Byron would even necessarily ask, unless it was like really important, maybe. Just like name, just like title. You can do something for me. Insert title here.
Yeah.
He put in the chat that you would that Byron and Remy would know his name. So
sure.
Yeah.
I heard that it was mentioned and I put it into the thing.
Yeah.
It was put in the chat, but
yeah.
Yeah, like he's just sort of someone who's like around. He's not necessarily like a big deal because he's too much of a wimp to like go for promotions or anything. But he just sits and reads these books that terrify him. He's literally someone out of like a Lovecraft book. Yeah. Yeah. But I'm looking forward to seeing Alishan like dramatic bitch slap him or something.
Yeah. I knew that this would probably, cause some emotional turmoil, but Byron just like, right, I found something that will solve a problem. Let's return on the eve of war.
Like, one thing at a time, Jesus Christ.
Well, then you had tech
direct.
issues and we decided to do a filler episode.
Yeah, none of this would have happened. None of this would have happened if I hadn't rolled really high today.
It's true. We'd be fighting a war right now, goddammit.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm so sorry.
Remember that one dangling plot thread from season 1?
I mean, it's good that we tie it up now.
I found a plot thread in Dan's notes that I totally forgot about because I was rereading them to just like get going. And I was like, I remember I described a man with an eye patch like by guy outside, and I was like, what the fuck? Who the fuck is that?
Did you?
There's a guy with an eye patch.
I remember guys in cloaks, not guys with an eye patch.
And it's a guy with an eye patch. I was like, I guess there's a guy with an eye patch now. Like, just forgot.
The NPC. Woo.
Yeah. I thought it was a dude in a cloak.
I mean, that was recently, but this could have been from a long time ago.
When he
this was
came to visit us?
Session 1 when he gave you the keep. No, this is like session 1 when he gave you the keep. Like a guy with an eye patch.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't remember that at all.
And I don't really, but if I've written it down, it must have been said. So I believe in my notes.
Yeah, well, I questioned your notes for a second. I was like, nah, I swear that's not a real thing. And so I went back and read my description. There's a guy with an eye patch there. I was like, huh.
Yeah, because I remember Alfred mentioning the dude in the robe, and now I'm all like, oh, that's I think, I don't know for sure. Well, it must be a Lorne. Characters don't know that because of the your intro season or at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, that recent meeting. Yeah.
I was like, oh, that must have been the guy that Alfred said that meets with him. And then, it was like, my daughter, blah, 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 blah.
I mean, he could have a cloak and an eye patch.
I mean, that's true. I haven't seen my dad in a really long time. Maybe some uppity bitch took his eye.
Would it grow back?
Maybe. He finds a new one.
I was gonna say he could be like, I look pretty freaking daring with this eye patch.
He just leaves the eye patch on. He's got an eye.
Makes match. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's so good.
And before
I
we
definitely want to do like a pirate captain who has an eye patch, but just for the looks.
For the
not
aesthetic value.
It's to hide his vampiric charming eye. He's like Cyclops and moves the eye patch out of the way whenever he gets all like, "You're gonna open up your door and invite me inside."
No.
That's what he sounds like. Hey girl.
Hey girl.
Stranger danger.
Right.
Sorry.
We're all here.
Yeah, props play for like another hour, right, Dylan? That's like your time.
No, I can play for another hour and a half.
Okay. Cool. We'll see how the fucking encounters go.
Cool.
So you guys fucking frog march this guy up to the keep.
Yeah, Byron's just walking. Remy's doing the frog marching, I'm sure.
Before he gets into the keep interior, I'm going to pat him down and make sure I take any weapons, spell components, arcane focus eye, things like that.
This guy's got nothing on him. Maybe like his lunch and a bit of money.
He can keep his lunch.
That's fine.
And he can keep his money because I found Jesus.
Yeah.
You found sweet baby Lathander.
You also found a ridiculous amount of wealth, but
Old Remy would have taken that shit.
okay.
Yeah, that's how you stay rich.
Keep stealing, even when you're rich.
I mean, old
fair
Remy,
point.
like took Englehart's clothes, so
True.
I know.
But that was for the lol. Yeah. So yeah, you guys like carry in or bring him inside. What would Elle be doing at this time?
suppose it'd be after Rose and her like finished up their stuff with Craig, and so I'm imagining that probably Arthas is still out looking for a trail because I mean I suppose
we
she
told
could.
him not to, right?
No, you sent him off pretty fervently, and like it's kind of one of those: do I spend another spell slot to call him back, or do I just kind of let him? He'll come back. He'll come back in a few hours. Let him run off some.
You never know.
Yeah, well, yeah, he might find something interesting to come back with. But so, anyways, so I guess we'll say the library just trying to find her own. Like trying to research her own stuff because like maybe I know Byron probably knows like everything that's in his library and what exactly it says about what, but she would be going through there just for her own.
Byron also know if you've moved anything, but I don't feel he'd be the one to get frustrated. He would just flick his wrist and.
I think after 6 months, she's probably really, really aware of Byron's fastidiousness, and so she's like making a point of putting things back where they belong.
Okay.
It might be slightly off angle, but it's back where it goes.
There's just a really slow mage hand movement, just going.
I can tell by the dust that this is slightly askew.
I left it at a 45-degree angle, and now it's clearly at 38.
Yeah. So Byron, I don't know. I guess we stroll into the library and the doors go dramatically or something.
All in place.
Oh,
hello, Elishon.
you found something, Perrin? What's he doing here?
I've brought us an expert.
I just wanted to help. And he sort of like isn't looking at you, Elle.
Oh, well, that's good. Perrin was in charge of the extra planar section in the library, or in the archives.
Yeah.
So I'm sure he knows quite a lot.
I'll just
Does
go
he have
and
a theory?
start. Yeah, I'll just go and start writing it. And he like tries to sort of sidle away a little bit.
Remy's just gonna grab him by the belt.
Yeah.
Actually, he's got an operating theory that he'd love to share with you right now.
Oh.
It's
I had a conversation with the man, and he perhaps spurred a conclusion I didn't think of earlier. Mayhaps it be Kidius, who wishes to get your attention?
I think there's like she doesn't say anything for like a little while. Like she kind of pales just a bit. It's like, suppose it could be.
He's kind of watching or not entirely picking up on the awkwardness. He's just like made an honest suggestion. And then as you kind of stumble, he then turns back to Perrin. And then it turns out Perrin had some new information on that subject.
Oh, did you do research after the trial, Perrin?
a bit. And he sort of like looks up at Byron like one last time, like, please don't make me do this.
There is not a lot of sympathy there. I mean, Byron can be a sympathetic character, but he just doesn't even register really.
Well, the fact that it's centered on you means that whatever entity is causing the, and he just starts like listing off the stuff you were talking about before Kidius was brought up, like avoiding the topic of.
I mean, that makes sense. Do you have a theory of like what plane he could be on?
Swallows again. No.
Do I need an insight check to see that this guy's like not saying saying something? Huh?
Make one anyway.
Okay.
Just, I mean, it'll be easy.
It's gonna be a plus 13 to whatever I roll.
Jeez Louise.
So a 22.
Yeah, this guy's like on the verge of tears, super guilty, trying not to say something.
You clearly know something, Perrin. What is it?
And he just like looks up at you for the first time, like sees your face, and just like flies into another round of just bawling tears, and begins like murmuring words that are sort of incomprehensible, and you just see like again more tears, more snot, just like he's proper ugly crying at this point, and he just falls to his knees.
Elishon kind of like goes over to him and like kind of pats him on the shoulder, like it's all right, and kind of like looks up at Remy and Byron, confused.
This is the guy that fucked you. Not literally, but like in your trial.
What?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Well, I don't understand the mechanics of it exactly, but apparently he made some kind of book that you read and sort of sent your buddy off to Baskin.
I'm so sorry. And he's just like,
yeah, he's very sorry if you can't tell.
You did what?
He's like looks up, and his face is just like bright red, covered in this like collection of tears and snot. And just says, I found the 2 pieces of the book you read, and I started to read them, and then I left it, and you found it, and then I took the book afterwards and threw it in the river. And he just like starts crying again, even more. And it's getting to the point where he's like running out of tears, and he's just kind of sobbing dryly.
You threw the book in the river? They were, and she like kind of steps back away from him for a second. She's like, they were looking for that. You told them that you didn't know about any book like that. You told them that the book that I described didn't exist.
Yeah, he sold you out.
He's just crying and nodding and like covering his face in his hands.
But he's going to make it up to you now, because he's going to help us get your buddy out of whatever shtick he's in right now. Aren't ya?
Where?
I don't know.
She like has like one finger up. Like she's like, wait. But she's not saying anything. It's just like the one finger. She's just kind of
Trying not to chaos him or something.
yeah, there's like there's so many words, so many things. Because
I think Byron, like as the scene is sort of shifting, Byron like moves to sit like round to his desk to sit again, and he like just beckons Milton out with a card saying, like very finely handwritten, just says "Come, like library, like to the library" or something, and sends it to go find Rose while they're in the middle of them arguing and him not taking part.
God love Byron.
And he's just letting it play out to some degree.
So I imagine Rose
And
would
he's
probably be in the temple and get that card and be like, "Oh, they're back. Okay."
Yeah. What now? Jesus Christ. Yeah, and he's just like sobbing, like in a pile on the floor.
yeah, there's just like Elishan is just like trying not to just scream at this man because she's still persona non grata even after the trial, even though she was exonerated of any wrongdoing. It was basically like, well, we can't prove you did anything wrong, so we're not going to punish you. But there's still like repercussions for what had happened.
Yeah,
and if so she's just kind of he's gonna help, you said.
I figured that, well, if it is the Kyrios angle, he might know more than anyone about the book. And he also has some wealth of planar knowledge. He might be able to affirm or dismiss our suspicions.
Can we find the book? I know he said he threw it in a river. She's like ignoring him now and like directing everything at Byron.
Can you scry it? You've held it in your hands before, right?
I don't know the spell, but this, and she like pulls like the like gem of brightness from around her neck. She's like, this was part of the inlay on the cover, and she like holds it out for Byron to see. Like this was part of it.
Bingo, right?
Like the mage hand like scoops it up from you unless you're close enough, but he'll give it a look. May be able to scry on it using a piece of it. I'm sure like there are similar vibrations or something. They are in tune, perhaps.
Elishan nods.
So I imagine that like Rose probably like arrives at some point during this and just kind of like gives the sobbing man on the floor like a cursory glance, kind of like, I recognize you, but I'm not like placing exactly where I know you from.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
She looks at Byron and is like, "You summoned me?"
He turns and like doesn't necessarily think anything of that comment. Because he did literally do that, but in the most technical way. I bought a planar expert from the halls.
He's the baby crying on the floor.
Elishan kind of goes like a little purple whenever the plainer expert was what he was chosen to be described at, but she stays quiet.
I mean, I haven't dismissed your...
No, it's fine. That's just how Elishon's reacting.
Good, so he should be able to help us.
Indeed. Hopefully dismiss or give us confirmation on our thoughts. While discussing with him, I did think something I didn't think at the time, which was ridiculous. Kidius could be the one, given the claw marks were roughly the size of a human hand. And, well, there was a revelation of sorts. And he kind of looks to the people arrayed, like Remy standing over crying man. Elishon probably like furious. Or variating between furious and it doesn't really I don't really feel it's my place to say.
He had information that would have been very useful in the trial and chose to stay quiet. And I think Rose would kind of know that whenever Elishon is super mad, she gets super polite. And so she's trying to...
She turns into Teshan.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so Rose would definitely like kind of narrow her eyes at this and like walk over to him and kind of like kneel in front of him. You withheld information?
He just like looks out. He just nods dejectedly.
Are you withholding information now?
He shakes his head.
I'm going to insight check him.
All right.
23.
You don't think he's withholding anything? You think he's beyond the point of like trying to hide anything at this point?
I mean, true, but Elishon's not going to believe a word that comes out of his mouth now.
Of course.
I imagine that the reason you're not in shackles right now is that your information is potentially valuable. And your help could be valuable.
He nods again. He shrugs at that. He doesn't know. I don't know. I just...
Stop.
And he just
crying.
begins acting. And he would stop and like kind of freeze and just stare at her. And he's doing that weird like kid thing where he's like, you know, his like breath's coming short.
How old is this guy?
Like early 20s.
Okay.
Stand up.
He does.
All right. So, do we have a plan?
We're gonna scry on the book. Right, we got the gem. We're gonna find the book, and then he's gonna help us get Kidius out of place.
Yes. This gem apparently came from the book, which he disposed of in the river some time ago, and perhaps you could scry on it. And with the
All
book,
right.
we could find something.
Okay. That's a place to start. What do we do with him?
Well, he's pretty harmless, as far as I can tell. We'll give him a room and feed him. Make sure he doesn't die.
First class accommodations in the basement.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah.
I was thinking perhaps he could see the scene. Perhaps he knew some incantations, or
you would know. Byron would know that he's not a particularly gifted wizard. Like he's fine. He's kind of mediocre.
okay.
If he knows third level spells, that would be impressive.
Yeah.
But he might have some knowledge that maybe Byron doesn't possess. Maybe.
Yeah, definitely. Like he's very, very well read on his
Mhm.
specific area of expertise, but he's not gifted like Byron or, diligent like his students. He's just only really joined the halls to read. Like, and being a wizard is like a hoop that he had to jump through, so he's kind of done the minimum.
Yes. Perhaps leave him to work. See if he can think of anything.
As far as I'm concerned, this man is a criminal. He interfered with an investigation.
You think you could assign Willow or one of the other guards to watch him while he's here?
He would have had to have disposed of the book while I was unconscious instead of getting help.
At that
will say
revelation,
to Rose.
Rose will just absolutely just flat out deck him.
Yes. Right in the face. He goes down immediately.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I imagine his nose is just like covered in blood and snot now, and he's just on the floor like slightly choking. He's never actually been fucking had any like physical violence ever done to him in his entire life. So he's just like coughing and spluttering on the floor.
Kreen will watch him.
Oh no.
You be careful. Misbehave, we'll let him eat you.
Green just pulls out salt and pepper shakers.
I mean, he doesn't need his legs from the knees down, right?
I don't see why I would.
Imagine Kairos' side at all times at this point. So he is just like fully thinking you're being serious. And like starts taking a step towards the man.
Byron stands from his desk. Could I caution that he may be useful to us first?
Of course.
And also, I don't want that kind of thing happening in my library. And he like looks at Cream, not particularly like scowly, but just matter of factly.
And Cream like scowls.
Not in the library.
Obviously not in the library, Byron.
I would
scowls
also
at not being allowed to eat him right now, and like looks up at Byron, and there's like he respects Byron, and he like steps back, whispering something about.
While I don't really care to have
very
very much of personal interactions with this man for the time being, I would like if someone would make sure that someone is informed at the halls.
Oh, I took care of that.
I mean,
in an official
no, definitely not taken care of. Like
when he has served his
probably
purpose, I will return him to see justice. But if he can fix what he has done, that'll help us both.
I am just more concerned that I just want the truth known. That's all.
Well, I told the Grand Archivist, but he was kind of drunk, so might not go too far beyond that.
If I remember the Grand Archivist, if you didn't write it down, he might not remember.
Yeah.
So, thank you, Byron. Thank you. This was, bit more than I was expecting to learn today.
Oh, it's very, very fun playing Byron. I think he just looks at you with a genuine look. Oh, I don't know how. I was just going to say something like, "I work very efficiently," just very deadpan. Probably say something like that.
Like, I think Elishon also knows that, probably could have, didn't, maybe not necessarily have needed to have brought this guy back, or I don't know, like Byron totally could have let this guy help and then like not ever have told Elishon anything because like it was settled in the eyes of the halls. So like she's this is kind of above and beyond as far as anyways, just thank you, and yes, let's see what we can do.
All right. So, Crean probably like, to the basement and just like, because you guys have like the sort of.
He's gonna go inspect my room first.
Yeah, Byron's gonna put him to work.
Oh, okay. All right.
I mean,
well, Crean is going to be right behind him whenever he goes.
Yeah.
Poking him in the back. All right.
Byron. Just say, Crean, make sure he gets to work. Alishon's bedroom.
Crean just has this like sick giggle, and Aaron just whimpers. And Aaron sort of is taken upstairs and begins inspecting the marks. And he isn't really sure, like, you can tell his mind definitely is not on the task. There's so much else going on that he's thinking about other than, these marks. And so he's like, kind of just spending a lot of time just like staring at them, but not really looking at them, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, this is kind of like, he's not going to be like a whole lot of use, but still brought him back, I think, for Elishon to... At least that's how Elishon is viewing it right now. It's like, this guy's worthless right now. Is going to be worthless. And,
Probably, yeah. It's a bit of column A, bit of column B. I think there is a small chance that he might actually be practically useful in either finding the book or what's going on. I mean, he has to believe that someone hired by the halls has some knowledge. But also, I think there is some closure. Not to be had right now, perhaps, but at least personal closure by you.
Elishon's trying to process it a bit. So, a scry on the stone, maybe? If we can find the book, I can see if I can reverse the ritual.
So, as part of the scrying magics, maybe having a part of the book and, a apt description of the book? Maybe
draw
even
a picture or something.
Yeah.
Like Elishon would have like described it. Oh, geez. I wrote it like a long time ago. Hold on 1 second.
But we could also get a description from him, maybe, because it sounds like it haunts his dreams for again and again. But and he made it, so maybe with his detailed description, you could get a benefit to finding it.
Okay, cool. So I mean, I'll say with like all the information you have, you can give like a roll. I think that sounds very works. Let me just have a look. Yeah.
It's an object, so I don't know if it can roll. It's just kind of, you have to decide whether or not, like Elishon's description of it, a large ancient black leather bound tome with an intricate crystal design embedded on the cover. The language written was curious and tangled and made her head ache to look upon.
Oh, we can totally have, a sketch artist scene, but with Byron using his illusions to like help craft what you thought of.
She can minor illusion. She can minor illusion an image of it. She just she minor. Duh. I'm sorry.
Byron would do the ta-da, little fireworks behind it.
He makes it like like more like tangible and solid, and so it's not like the like transparent like Star Wars hologram
Sure.
minor illusion. He
I will
makes
take
it like
that. My feelings won't be hurt.
yeah, there you go. He makes it look more substantial.
Okay, here's what I'll do. Is I'll say you can have the knowledge can be first-hand, considering all the information you have about it. And it can be a possession or garment, so the save will be -4. So I'll just say roll Arcana and add 4 to the roll. And making a spell attack against it rather than a save sort of thing.
Can I inspire her?
Yeah, with your rage and whatever.
Yeah, I'm sure like Rose is plenty inspired by the by the events, so it'll be a D10 to add to your roll.
Yeah.
Let's go with 22. After I
Okay.
mathed.
You see the book, and it's in this sort of. You can't really tell. It's this weird kind of like there's wooden slats underneath it and wooden slats above it, and it takes you a moment. You realize it's under a bed somewhere, and then you can, I know this isn't how scrying works, but shush. It sort of like zooms out, and you see that it's a really small bed, and then you see that the room you're in has 2 beds, and one of the beds, like sitting on one of the beds, is a small boy, and he's just like sitting on the other bed to the one the book's under, but staring at the book underneath the bed, and you see like the he's got kind of clothes and that sort of thing sitting on his bed, and on the other bed are like some other clothes and that sort of thing. You see a pair of girls' shoes, and you see just like some scorch marks and kind of strange markings around the floor, like burnt into the wood in the middle of the room. And it kind of zooms out a bit more, and you see it's like a small village, or what appears to be a small village, like on the River Ross. Is it, Dan? Is that what you ended up calling it, or is it the River Vi?
One or the other. I think it's the River Vi and the Pass of Ross. I can't remember.
That was it. Yeah. So you see a small village on the River Vi, downstream from Viros.
So, given my familiarity with the investigation, can I intuit that the scorch marks are anything similar to what happened with Elishan and Kidius?
They are very similar.
So, as the spell ends, Rose will be like, "He's a dead man. I'll see him hang for this."
What?
And then I'll describe what I saw.
Oh.
I don't get it.
Byron asked, were the
The
clothes
boy
like,
magicked
neatly
away his
folded on?
sister.
What's happening?
Is that what happened? That there was just a pile of clothes and the sister is gone, or were they just clothes completely piled?
It's like those clothes kind of piled around, like showing that it was her bed, but it wasn't like the clothes had been blasted off her or anything.
Sure. So it's just that the girl might have the book, and the boy's curious about it, not that he did it.
The book's under the bed, though, and he's looking at the book.
It wasn't in. He was just looking curiously at the book from the other bed.
There's two beds opposite each other. Yeah, he's looking at it under her bed, but but the scorch marks are sort of in the middle of the room.
So I don't know, she might have done it to himself, or
Yeah, she might have done it to herself, I guess.
Yeah, but
be terrified. I mean, he's still, yeah. I'm not arguing that he should be tried or anything. I was just trying to get the details right. That I think that kid was more scared, perhaps, than anything.
No, I mean Rose wasn't referring to the kid. Rose was definitely referring to the wizard.
Yeah, oh yeah,
No,
yeah.
that's
He's
what I
dead man
meant.
walking.
Yeah.
I don't think it's another case of someone doing it to someone else. Maybe.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because it was reaching, like Elishan would, I guess, describe the whole thing to you guys again. I can do that so that that's
Do it.
do whatever. The language was written in a curious and tangled script that made my head ache to look upon, and I couldn't wait to share it. Whenever I was reading the tome, I began speaking in chaos. As far as I know, it was the first time I'd ever spoken it, and but I fell into some sort of trance, and I couldn't stop reading it. I do vaguely remember that Kidius reached for me, and whenever he tried to take the book from my hand, there was like this energy. Dark tendrils kind of like reached out from the book towards me, and so he took the book from my grasp and threw it away, and the curse or whatever it was hit him instead of me. And when I woke, the book, of course, was gone, and so was Kidius. Ta-da! So yeah, it was going for me first. So it's possible that if someone else found it and read it, it would go for them unless somebody else, did the same as Kidius, trying to save whoever reads it from it.
Yes. By our reckoning, we have 5 days. We also have a very dangerous planar artifact that is doing harm to people. I have 1 teleportation left for the day, or we could take the skyship.
Well, do we know where we're going?
From Rose's description, a town south of Viros, along the Vi, we can begin scouring, but it will not necessarily be a quick process.
Well,
how many days in the ship?
It takes a few hours to Viros. What was it, like 4 to 6?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then south of there, and then we would have to get back again. Well, we could teleport back eventually, but
It's like early afternoon at this point as well.
But you only have.
So if you went, it would be dark by the time you got back.
Yes.
So if you're wanting to set a trap, yeah.
Well, if we go
consider
via airship and because we could teleport straight to the book because you have the crystal from it, so you have something anchoring you to the place that we're going, but we won't be able to get back quickly.
I mean, that's if you were going to a different plane, but this thing is just separate on a separate plane, so I don't think I could teleport using the crystal to get to the book.
But I mean, it was more of a hey, I can't teleport to Orithil because I haven't been to Orithil. I need a piece from Orithil to make the teleportation stable. That's what she was trying to infer. That since she has a crystal that's part of the book, even though you've never been to that village, it would be a clean teleportation, is what I was trying to say. Like, no chance of mishap.
Right. Okay. Maybe? Let me just check teleportation really quickly.
I remember your PowerPoint present, or you're not your PowerPoint, your chalkboard
presentation.
About the safeties of teleportation. But it's kind of a moot point if you won't be able to get back, although we can use the...
So you have an associated object.
Yes.
Is the way it would play out. So that means that you automatically succeed. I think.
Directly on target.
But
That's convenient. Yeah, I was almost thinking that we could fly the, or someone could fly the skyship close, nearish, and then we teleport, get directly to it, and then the skyship won't be so far away when we call it using the baton thing, and then when we get on there, we can fly it back, and we'll be back in like half a day. Or we can rest in whatever.
If we're rushing to get back so that we can set a trap, it might also be logical that Kidius, if that's what we're dealing with, will just find Elishan wherever she is. We could technically set it wherever.
Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
If it is Kidius, or
right, whatever it is that wants to kiss/kill Elishan.
It's like fuck, marry, kill. Only it's all three.
Yeah, we could teleport there. We could get it, and then we could rest, and then teleport back in the morning. Or we could save a few hours, maybe by complicated using the ship. But
I mean, the only problem with that is that you're pretty much the only one who can fly the ship, and you're the only one who can teleport.
Sure.
Yeah, but if we teleport right away, you can use the baton to start summoning the ship to us. It would just be a couple of hours before it gets to us, wherever we end up. Or we can just rest and do all of the teleport vamping tomorrow, and just kind of deal with tonight as it comes up.
This is going to be one really shocked little kid.
That is, if he doesn't take the book and throw it out someplace.
Sure. Shall we move quickly? Would you like to bring Kreen along, and we get Bazrag to watch?
No, Kreen needs to stay with him.
Very well.
Yeah, buddy.
Oh no, something awful is going to happen to Kreen. I was just thinking if we get sucked into a different dimension somehow, that Kreen would be really, really handy.
I'm going to call Arthas with the air stone again. If he's not back yet. Is he back yet?
Yeah, he wouldn't be, and you call him back.
Yeah.
He would just appear and be like, "Sorry, and like see everyone's expressions are completely different to what he was expecting."
Yeah, and so while they're all preparing, she's gonna give him the rundown of what just happened, because he Arthas knows pretty much all of the details about what happened.
Yeah, and he's definitely his jaw's set, and he's his arms are veining up and that sort of thing. He's very much would like to be in Kreen's position right now.
Yeah, it's a good thing that he's that Perrin's not in the room while Elishan's telling him all this. I'm imagining.
Very much.
So,
because I mean, you all know that Arthas is quite impulsive and wild, and yeah, you probably not have had Rose's restraint.
There
just
is
one punch.
Yeah. The one hand on the arm to kind of calm him down, but it's we might be going for the book tonight.
He just nods. He's he's not in full control of his voice, so he doesn't want to speak. He just nods.
Okay. While people are I don't know, getting ready, they may probably have to kit up, or people have to do things. Byron is gonna go to Vela and ask her to keep an eye on that wizard, and make sure that Kreen doesn't kill him, make sure that he gets something useful, and that she can lean on Bazrag whenever necessary. We should be back shortly, maybe tomorrow morning.
She grins and nods, and just kind of as you turn to leave, she just be like, be careful, and then just sort of have this kind of purple sort of flush to her cheeks slightly.
He like turns in the doorway, half turns to her and nods. I will.
And she just like has this kind of like happy smile on her face, and she kind of heads down towards the basement.
Well, he might be doing stuff in Alicia's room, maybe. I don't know.
Well, wherever she is, wherever
Sure.
he is. Right. So, are you guys teleporting first, or are you
We're teleporting with the band and
skyshipping?
summoning Skyship back to us.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, that's no worries. So yeah, you just everyone's holding hands or whatever, and you just appear like above the bed, and I mean there's like what, 4 or 5 of you, 5, I think.
Have you seen the Watchmen
I think
movie?
just 4.
Well,
No,
I think
Arthur.
Arthur's one.
Yeah, Arthur would have come.
Oh, it came. Okay.
have you seen the Watchmen?
Yeah, I have seen Watchmen.
I like to think when we teleport, it's like, you know, when Dr. Manhattan materializes in that cafeteria in that science thing, everything starts raising, electricity starts going, then boom,
Yeah.
we appear.
Thrown
So
against the
completely
wall.
freak that kid out.
Remy, first
Yeah.
thing, just pukes all over the kid's bed.
Yeah, just tries very hard and like is just able to control himself, but like seeing Remy, he like turns green and like has to cover his mouth slightly.
Elishan will prestidigitate Remy's mess away.
I do.
It's all right.
And the kid just squeals and ducks under his covers, and like you just see it like a quivering form
No,
under the covers.
no, it's all right.
Where's the book, kid?
Remy,
What?
please.
Just like he peeks over the covers. Who are you?
I'm Rose. What's your name?
Bryce?
Bryce. Like my friend said, you have a book that's interesting to us.
Yeah. And he just like points towards the bed.
I'll go over and look where he's pointing.
Yeah. You see the book under the bed.
Alright, before I reach out and grab the Book of Doom, should I not grab the Book of Doom? I mean,
Maybe you
It's-
shouldn't.
Mm.
Alison?
okay.
Well, it was only a danger whenever I started to read it. But Elishan will go over and kneel next to the bed and like dig it out from under the bed. And it's, you know, assuming looks the same, just has like, you know, the missing piece on the cover.
Crystal. Yeah. And he just the boy just says, It ate Nelly.
I know, buddy. I'm
Is she
sorry.
going back?
We're gonna try.
He just nods and you see him like smile slightly.
How long has it been?
Since?
It ate Nelly. She was trying to be nice and not say.
Oh, right,
ate
you're right.
sister. How long has it been?
A few days.
Your parents around anywhere?
Shakes his head.
How old is this boy?
Just below 10.
Bryce, where did you get the book?
She found it in the river.
How long ago was that? Do you remember?
It was a few days. She read it when she got home.
I bet she's probably very curious.
You know what?
I know someone like that too.
You do?
I do. And she's gonna help us get your sister back, okay?
Okay.
Now go back to sleep. This has all been a dream. Oh. Hey, get up, clown.
And the kid giggles at that, like laughing at the strange halfling.
Elisha, you've dipped below and picked up the book.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like
alright.
Elishan has it in her hands.
Byron opens the door, like mage hands, key in the lock or whatever, and like the baton is already like in his actual hand, and he's like push the button, and he just kind of strolls out into the evening.
Yeah, and the town is like very. I mean, you've probably been here before, or at least know of its existence. It's called Hummock, and it's just a very very small like river fishing town.
It's like, what time is it? It's like afternoon.
Yeah.
All right, Bryce, we need to do some of our magic and see if we can find your sister, all right?
He nods again.
Where are your parents?
He shrugs.
Yeah, Byron already figured out it's the sister that looks after him.
Do you have any food in the house?
Yeah, where's the grub, kid? I'm hungry.
I mean, that's not why I'm asking.
Oh, okay.
A bit. And he like points, and like behind the door is like, a makeshift shelf which has like, some dried fish and like some vegetables and stuff on it. Just very little.
So Rose will give him some coin, but I also would like to go. Are there any shops open to where I could like?
Yeah,
Get
there's
some
probably
of
like one shop in the town.
We might double up, but I'm just going to say that you might find Byron coming back, having bought something for him.
Rose will still go and get.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like it's tiny. It's not like you could probably get like some loaves of bread and that sort of thing, and
Dried meats and stuff like that. That's not gonna like perish or anything. Or he doesn't have to
there's-
necessarily like
there's not,
cook or anything.
there's not going to be a lot of like fancy stuff or anything.
Oh, once Rose comes back, should we get a neighbor to look in on him?
I don't know.
It might be best.
Do you have any family, child?
Nelly. And you can tell now that like it looks like he hasn't washed in days, and he's just kind of like you probably don't think he's left the room, and you see there's some like dried fish and stuff like remnants
Why
of
don't,
meals lying around.
Were you here when it happened, Bryce?
It's
Did you see what happened?
it ate her.
You mean the book opened its mouth and swallowed her?
Well,
Or she disappeared?
things came out, pulled her in.
Oh, okay. Spooky ghost arm things?
He nods.
Okay, well, we're gonna do our best to try and figure out how to get her back.
Please.
And Elishan kind of like looks up at Byron and Rose and Remy, like, with the book in her hand, kind of all like, should I try and open it? Because, she's learned her lesson. I was like,
Let's
did you
go,
guys want to prepare anything? Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Let's
not done
go
yet.
away from the
Yeah, yeah.
10-year-old, you know?
Yeah, that's a good idea. What kind of preparation should we make?
Oh, I think someone should stay here and watch the kid, and I nominate Arthas. Dogs are good with kids.
Just scowls, like throws up his arms.
Like Elishan sighs. I thought you guys were getting along better.
I was trying to be complimentary.
Fine. Arthur's walk back in. Just like sit down with the kid.
Elishan will give him a quick kiss on the cheek before she like leaves.
I'm doing him a favor if he can prove he's good with kids. I mean, that's like a mega penny.
I think Byron is like
But you
looking
know,
to
like-
those that the neighbor is probably a good idea, or the authorities, he would say.
You're just gonna come back to the house just like burning rubble. And like Arthur's just whoops.
I mean, he also knows that Arthas is probably better keeping us alive than babysitting, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I figured we don't know the neighbors. We know this kid. We know Arthas. So.
True.
And we know that if
Exactly.
something terrible were to happen, Arthas could keep him safe.
I mean, I hope nothing would happen in a sleepy fishing village, but
At
I'm
least
sure
one awful
we-
thing has happened so far.
Sure, but I would imagine that you could scare anyone into looking after a child for a while, or Byron could just try persuade them. But yeah,
I mean, but the neighbors. I mean, you can either make the argument that the neighbors have been helping these two kids basically survive, or the neighbors are total shit for not being.
All right, nobody adopted this kid.
Yeah, like so they're not. So that's like one or the other.
sometimes people, die in their apartment and they're not found for like a week or more because people just don't come and check.
Yeah, that's what I'm
So,
saying. Though.
Yeah, I think it might be worth just asking the neighbors so we can have the giant scary wolf man in front of us when we get hit by whatever we go through the portal in.
Mhm.
We were going through. Oh
Yeah,
no!
that's
My
a
thinking is
possibility.
that if we're essentially taking ownership for this kid's life, that we should take ownership for it. That's honestly what I was thinking. But
Yeah,
if we want to not, that's okay.
No, I mean I agree.
I'm all
but-
for delegating it.
I mean, in the long term, maybe when we come back, we can take them back to the keep and they can have a happy life. But I think right now, in for the next hour or so, just have the neighbor look after them while we go to the hell dimension and rescue his sister. And I would rather have a werewolf man with me than without.
I agree with that theory. So, are their neighbors like sweet grandmas or like sketchy old man?
Are they Micah and
told
Helga
them.
types, or are they like,
Yeah.
I'll look after him?
So
Hollister opens the door. Of
God,
course.
Hollis. Yeah. It's just like vampires on one side, ghouls on the other.
I mean, what's the neighbor situation here?
Anyways, we go talk
Just
to the neighbors.
Of course, I will
Just a
look after
lich opens the door.
child.
What'd you
Yeah.
say, Rob?
I just said a lich opens the door. It's like an actual just skeleton.
It's Amon.
No, you. Yeah. Oh, hey guys. Yeah. So no, you open the door, or you knock on the door, and it's opened by kind of really tall, kind of bearded, strong-looking fisherman type, and he sort of looks you up and down like, you're the weirdest thing he's ever seen.
I mean, we probably are.
Can I help you?
Bryce, next door. Would
Oh.
you mind? Sorry.
He just says, yeah.
I'm not sure if you're aware, but his sister's missing.
What? Nelly?
Yeah.
What happened?
Well, we're trying to figure that out, and so we didn't want to leave him alone again so soon after,
Who are you?
I'm Elishan, and these are my friends.
I'll kind of
Right.
like
That doesn't
gesture
tell me
to
who
my-
you are, though.
I'll gesture to my holy symbol.
And
You
Byron,
with the church? And he's just like looks directly at Rose.
Yes. Investigating the disappearance.
And he's sort of like, you can tell he's very mistrusting, but he's like, she's with the church, she's probably right. And so he goes, oh, okay, I'll have him come around here. Times. And you see his like, you see a kind of short woman who's sort of like coming up behind him, looking kind of curiously out at you all.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello? And she like looks at her husband like, who the fuck are these people? And he just turns and says that Nellie's missing. And she's just like, hand over her mouth like, oh gosh. And they're like, she like kind of pushes past you and starts walking towards the house to go get Bryce.
We've got the investigation under control.
I hope so. And you can tell he's the sort of like stoic, not going to show my emotions, just going to be level-headed type. But you can tell this is hitting him pretty hard.
Now that we've got Bryce sorted, we should probably continue.
And so, yeah, like Arthas rejoins you, and the woman and like disappears with Bryce into her house, and you can hear the sounds of like pots and pans clanging as she cooks him something.
So now what?
Byron, I don't know how long it would take to get here, but he'd probably precisely say how long the airship would take to get to this village.
5 hours, 23 minutes.
Yeah.
I can try and see if I can find the ritual again. I just, wanted to warn you guys that well, it has a pull, and so don't let me start reading anything until we're ready. At least out loud. Don't let me do anything out loud.
Okay.
Okay, and then
hang on.
Yeah.
Hang on.
Yeah.
Are we going to do this here in the middle of this village? Are we going to wait until we can get back to our keep? Are we going to rest on it? Or are we going to disappear in the middle of the street?
I mean, what do we think is going to happen? We're going to read this thing and then go to Daskent?
No, it's not Duskend.
No?
No.
Where is it? Hell's Gate.
Or at least Kidius isn't in Duskend. We know that for certain thanks to the communion that Rose had with Lathander.
So, we don't know where we're going.
No. And we don't even know if we will go anywhere. It's entirely possible I could find something in the book that, we can maybe pull them back. Maybe.
Erin suggested that maybe he just got scattered to a great deal of planes. He wasn't entirely sure that he went anywhere either. Not super confident on us being transported one by one through whatever plane of magic this thing holds. Maybe we won't all go to the same plane. Maybe
I think that's very likely.
Maybe we could study it, and maybe we could find out some better way of using it than the crude methods that have been used so far.
Okay. So wait for the ship, go back to the keep, and we research. Or you research and I drink.
As always, Remy, as always.
Yeah. Be right back.
Well, if we're just going to wait around for the ship to show up, then can I do like a detect magic ritual on the book just to kind of do some sort of things?
Yeah,
So,
fuck. It's whatever plane of magic is magic,
Mm-hmm.
It's it looks like not good. You know, you don't get like a oh this is nice magic vibe from it. You get the other one
Mm-hmm.
Doom.
pretty much.
I'm gonna go over to the house we just dropped the kid off at and knock on the door.
Woman answers, yes.
So,
What is it?
yeah, you remember me? I'm the So we're gonna be gone for a little while. You might be responsible for that kid for the foreseeable future. Here, take this.
That's
And,
fine.
and I'm gonna hand her a bag with 25 silver pieces in it.
That ought to be enough to feed the kid for foreseeable future. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of money
Yeah.
to this woman.
So just keep him fed
Thank
and
you.
don't let him die.
I won't.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
And just walk away.
She like closes the door slightly.
Do you want to try and sleep on it? I thought we wanted to try and figure out what was going on before, you know, I have to sleep again.
It was just a suggestion.
Yeah, yes.
I would be more than happy to spend some time studying it in a more controlled location. I mean, like looks at the dirty mud roads and stuff that they're standing in.
Do you have a place at the keep that is warded for these kinds of things? I think that might have been part of my problem. I did it in the middle of the library. Probably not the smartest thing to do.
Isn't
in hindsight.
is it just my imagination, or isn't there like a cell in the library that has like a magic dampening thing on it or something? Or in the basement, sorry? Or have I just completely made that up?
I had some protection put up for concocting the cure, but that was mostly like a force wall and stuff.
Yeah,
And
I thought you had like a special cell for wizards or something. But I actually don't know why I thought that.
I mean, that's awesome. If you'd let me make that, it'd probably be incredibly expensive, but I could do that.
Yeah, you can make that.
Anti-magic is a very high level spell.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was just considering that rushing into these things, like has been done before, might not be the best idea.
No. But we do have some time before the ship comes back. Do you want to take a look at it?
There is definitely a moment of trepidation on his face, considering the awful artifacts he has had to touch previously. Maybe we could find a room or something, and I could take a look. I can't remember.
There is like the now empty house where Nellie and Bryce are from.
Quite. Maybe that would be safest. From what I know of Hummock, I don't believe it'll have any kind of repository of books.
Mm-mm.
No. That's probably one of the only ones. Like, there's probably the thing where there's like library has like 10 books on a stand, and that's it. Like, this is a tiny place.
Yeah, maybe that would be for the best. And he can take the book and take it inside the small fisher person's hovel and never be seen from again.
I mean, I'll go with you. Don't worry. I can cast protection from evil from you if you would like.
May actually help. From the 10
figure out who's Max. God damn it.
What? There's two people talking to me talking at once.
I was complaining, so you go down.
Yeah. Would you like me to?
How about you be ready on it? It takes a very short period of time to cast, I presume.
Yeah, it's from her lyre. So she'll like, just have like the lyre ready, kind of like playing it softly while you look over the thing. And so if like, ready to cast it.
Yeah. I mean, is it
Within touch
protection from
distance.
evil and good?
Yes.
Is that the action as well? Because that technically only protects from creatures, it says.
It's the idea, man.
Yeah, I mean, it might help. Maybe if the tentacles attempted to hit me and take me into the realm, was what I was thinking. They might have disadvantage.
Okay, that's fine.
It
So
just
you
might
have
help.
protection from book creatures as well. Cool. All right. So are you opening it to read it?
Byron is going to take it as cautiously and as slowly and not attempt to incant anything of awful. He's just going to try and study the book in silence.
Okay. So you open it up to the very first page, and you just see this like weird, jumbled, almost looks like an image because the letters aren't real letters. They're like kind of wrong, and then they begin to kind of shift in front of you, and they form a readable sort of image before you, and it just says void on it on the first page. And then you flip to the second page and you just begin reading, and it's this like insane kind of garbled gibberish about that just kind of explains and talks about nothingness, blackness, emptiness, a lack of anything, a vacuum, and it just goes on and on and on describing what it might be like to exist in such a space, and the crushing loneliness and insanity that builds with a lack of anything tactile, visual, sensory, olfactory, just anything at all. No stimulus. And it just goes on, and eventually you kind of find yourself flipping to a page with the incantation on it. And you can see like scorch marks and slight burnt parts on it. But and as you're kind of reading, without speaking, you find yourself unaffected by it.
Okay. I'm not sure if during the intervening hours, like he could do anything to kind of like study a better way, or how to make sure that they're all going to the same place, or like all would go together at the same time, or any kind of safer method, like some sort of arcane experimentation,
Or pulling people back from this.
or that finding them once
So
they're there.
there appears to be a different, like the paper is slightly different, that the pages with the incantation are written on, and you kind of see that they were maybe taken from different books or whatever. But the book itself merely like discusses the void. It doesn't actually talk about kind of moving through it and that sort of thing. The incantation itself is like just insane, like, Enchiridion levels of like, I don't know what I'm saying, but something's happening. So you're really not sure.
I imagine that takes a reasonable, well, maybe Byron reads very quickly, but it takes some of the amount of time.
It's the sort of thing where you have to read it like 5 times as well.
Yeah.
To understand what it's saying. Yeah.
Do I get a sense of this place, of it being a separate plane, like where it is, what kind of entity it is, like?
I mean, they're pretty intent on describing the void as a place that someone might find themselves. Yeah.
Okay. like, that would give me enough knowledge about how to go there under my own power? Or like if I focused on some keywords or power words that I could travel in and out of it?
Not as far as you know.
Oh.
Because Rose has plane shift now, right? On level 7?
You?
I mean,
Let's hold hands, gang. We're going on a field trip.
you reckon plane shift might help you get back?
Yeah.
But as for going there, it's very strange. You're not sure.
So yeah, Byron, after reading it 5 times or whatever, and it taking a while, and it has to reform, suggests that if we could plane shift under our own power, we might then be able to leave, because obviously it seems like no one has left from this place before. And he doesn't have that power with him right now, and Rose might get it tomorrow.
Yes.
Blessed be Lathander.
Praise to Lathander.
Right, okay. So at the very least, if I'm understanding things, we may not be able to plane shift there, but the incantation could do it. Right?
This incantation brings us there, but obviously the book is always left behind and you cannot get out again. We need some way of getting out afterwards.
Which is what the plane shift will do, right?
Indeed.
Okay.
Not that many have that power, but it is among us.
But Rose is fucking baller.
We would need to make sure we took in a limited number of people, because if we're trying to bring 2 people back with us, my powers are... There is a limit to the number of people I could bring back.
How much do you feel can you bring? Can you bring back at once?
8.
Okay.
The magic number of Lathander, of course.
Of course.
Okay, so we'll definitely have to wait until tomorrow then. So what do we do about tonight? Do we think that Kidius could ever break free or through completely? Is that not really a worry, or?
I mean, he's tried a great many times and hasn't yet. Like I said, you could perhaps delay him by sleeping elsewhere. It was mentioned that these planar entities often have to anchor them somewhere, and people are notoriously ephemeral, so they often choose places that don't change so much.
It could be the crystal.
Or that. You could also keep that away from you.
It is also possible his intention is not to harm her. He is just merely trying to
Get my attention.
Get back to this plane of existence, and you are an anchor point. And the forces at work here are what are dragging him back. And those are the claw marks that he is leaving.
But he is pulled back again.
Not a pleasant thought, I know. There is also another issue that time could be distorted in this plane of existence.
Oh, God. Yes. That happens a lot. The planes will sit on top of each other, and sometimes shifting from one to the other can cause dilations. So if we all go, we might risk like the Vildalorn.
Iron shudders.
I don't want to prioritize one thing over the other. Especially not with a child involved.
Well,
Like there's awkward silence
Yes,
and
yeah.
and mouth noises and the rest of it, and
Elishan's like
Fine.
trying to think of how to word what she's wanting to say.
Byron will say, "It's no good as bringing Kidius back if he has nowhere to come back to. If the keep falls to Balern and King Gaiad, then what home will he have?"
Right. There's also, yes, that's what I was trying to say. As much as I've been looking and hoping for some kind of progress or answers about this in particular, I feel like we can't really prioritize it right now, as much as I hate saying that. There's any type of yeah, because if something happens to any of us over there, that like lessens the chances of hundreds, thousands of people up north. So may have to wait.
But on the bright side, we don't need what's his face anymore.
Yes, that is a bright side.
Don't we? Do we have a way to get to the place, the abyss?
Oh,
So I think it's probably.
I mean, he might
drunk
know
Guernsey
something.
driver.
He might know something of the book. He might know something that could help us. I've not taken very long with it. Maybe he could do the incantation, and we could each be transported over.
It tends to go for the person who's reading it. We might all have to read it.
But can all of us read it?
I can read.
Well, Byron
really doesn't want to test that out. Like, hold the book in front of Remy and see if he knows. I just know that he can, and that you can, and that presumably I can. Maybe it is arcanely gifted people who can. So getting someone else to do it.
Pretty much anyone could.
Okay.
You reckon it's sort of designed to let people.
I mean, a
Suck
child
suck
read
a
it.
little girl into
Yeah.
it, yeah.
I mean, she could have been
A
magically
teenager.
gifted. We don't know how
She could
old
have
she is.
True.
Yeah.
He was just give him something to do.
I don't think Korean can read it though.
Because we can get in the way each time. And then someone will be on this end, perhaps with the book.
If I read it, I could always pull Arthas in with the airstone, right? She'll say it to him, like kind of half jokingly. He wouldn't have to read it.
He shrugs.
Things you do for love, huh, buddy?
Remy says to Arthas.
Gives you that fuck you look.
I mean, if you wanted to come with, like, I kind of assumed you don't have to.
Of course I do.
You sure?
Hey, why wouldn't you want to go to a dimension of death to rescue her ex-boyfriend, right?
Oh, well.
He just like sighs.
Like, cutting through that, Byron would be right. There is a point. It seems fairly featureless. I'm not entirely sure how to navigate this space. If we were able to track people or things, even, we may be able to move through this space and find them. It doesn't seem like a place of light, or indeed any recognizable landmarks or geographical features.
So if, your spell, the telepathic bond. Maybe we don't all have to go, because that works across the planes, doesn't it?
Why wouldn't we?
I mean, I was just saying, if there's no way of finding, there's no sensory.
It has to be on the same plane. But
oh, okay. Damn.
I mean, that would help us, but we need to find who we need to find in a place lacking of light, direction. Don't necessarily have anything to track people, do you?
Not myself, no. I mean, I'd have true seeing, but I don't know if I wanted to. Would feel safe doing true seeing in a plane like that, but
I mean, why are we fixated on going there? I mean, if we do some research on this book, isn't it possible that you could figure out a way to just pull people out of it?
Maybe.
Byron looks up to the giant DM face in the sky. I'm going to say I don't believe that's how it works. It pulls people in, it doesn't bring people out.
Yeah, well, you're a smart guy. You make a new spell.
If you find something, but yeah, you think it's... If it could, it would be extremely difficult, but maybe it would take a lot more reading.
Just saying, I don't think it'll be of much use in a place where I can't, walk or stand or see.
I said we don't have to prioritize this now. I mean, I know I'm a bit gifted at bringing trouble to you folks. We do have bigger things going on. It could be something that we just have to prepare for, take our time. When we have a bit more options.
Sounds good. And, maybe there's still something to be said for laying in wait for Kyrios to show up, and maybe you can find a way to talk to him.
Yes, maybe if he comes and I have true setup, maybe I can figure out something to pull him back in, maybe.
Clearly he can see you. Maybe you can see him. Maybe you can communicate.
Right, and then if we can figure out how to pull him out, then we can do the same for the girl.
God, when is that ship coming?
You're right.
So yeah, the ship takes like just over 5 hours to arrive. And I imagine it's sort of, yeah, you guys are all sort of waiting awkwardly, not like most of you not really sure what you should be doing.
While you guys delve into the finer points of academic research, I'm gonna go have a drink. There's a bar in this town, right?
Remy says as he walks out the door.
Yeah, there's probably a bar.
Remy finds
But
it.
it's tiny and shit.
I like shitty alcohol. It's cheap.
Yeah, it's very cheap. But eventually the ship does arrive, and Byron manages to make it not just like land in their house,
Yeah.
just crush it.
He's like someone on the deck of a aircraft carrier with those battens, just like whirling his arms, guiding it into an open field.
And I imagine like everyone in the village is asleep, so like no one knows that they've just seen a miraculous thing happen.
Apart
like
from one crazy guy, yeah.
I was just gonna say one drunk guy. He's gonna like talk about it the next morning, and no one's gonna believe him because it's just
Toothless old
crazy
man.
old Reese.
I saw a flying ship, I did.
And then Bryce is just going
Crazy,
to talk about the kids. The people just appeared in his room.
So you'll kind of load up and start heading off back to Frosthaven, and so I'm at there's the bunks and all that sort of thing there. So would you guys be staying awake to see if Kitty shows up or whatever it is?
I would suggest it. We could set an alarm spell or whatever, and
Make it about as difficult for him to appear as possible, probably flying through amazing pace. Don't you scratch up my ship. Don't you do it.
I mean, I don't need to get any spells back, so I can stay up all night and just kind of watch and try to wake up Elishan if anything weird happens.
Yeah, Elisha.
Well,
I have to pilot,
okay.
so maybe.
So, well, I mean, you could just press the button, but yeah.
It has to. The button has to be pressed at the keep, though. So someone would
No, because you have the speed.
Press to send it back to the keep.
Byron never get to fly this damn ship.
You just stand out there for a little bit. Just pretend you're flying.
Stupid convenient autopilot.
Yeah. You have the home button programmed in.
Yeah. So sleep takes Elisha, and for a while, Remy sits watching her. Then, after maybe a couple hours, you hear this sort of scratching noise, and kind of look towards Elishan, and you see below the bunk she sleeps in, one just, then another one, until all 4 scratches are there.
Right as I see the first one, I'm going to throw a rock at Elishan's head.
Okay, she doesn't wake up.
Really?
Shit. Oh, it's not her.
And I think that's where we'll end it.
Oh.